championship ever. Coach Pete Waite and his Badgers are 33-3 and have surprised everybody with their tenacious play. They knocked off UCLA in the Mideast Regional Final, then blasted USC on Thursday. Wisconsin is confident that a national championship is well within reach. Standing in the way, undefeated Nebraska. John Cook's Huskers are trying to become just the second team in history to finish unbeaten and win a national title. In Thursday's semifinal, Nebraska threw a block party by stuffing Hawaii. One more win and the Huskers will celebrate like it's 1995. We welcome you to the Richmond Coliseum here in Virginia for the 2000 NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship. Today in the National Championship Final, it's the Wisconsin Badgers from the Big Ten and the Nebraska Huskers from the Big 12. This past Thursday night in semifinal action, Nebraska defeating Hawaii in 4 and Wisconsin sweeping USC. Hi again, everybody, and welcome. I'm Chris Marlowe. For only the second time in NCAA volleyball history, no West Coast team is in our final. Doesn't matter. This is going to be a great one between Nebraska and Wisconsin. Let me first tell you why Wisconsin coach Pete Waite thinks his team is going to win the championship today. The Badgers have the best 1-2 punch in women's volleyball. It starts in the middle with Charissa Livingston. Folks, Charissa is the real deal. She is the best hitter blocker in America. She cannot be stopped. She's aided by Jenny Mostrick, a former middle blocker who moved to the right and moved to the left. She is a tremendous player. She should have made All-American. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nebraska is big. Nebraska is bad. Nebraska is undefeated. Well, think back to 1992. UCLA came in undefeated, had one of the great teams of all times. Who beat them? Stanford, with one great player, Bev Oden. Stanford beat UCLA 3-0. That could happen today. For more on the Huskers, let's go over to my partner, Heather Cox.
Chris, thanks. Now, Wisconsin may have Livingston and Mostrick, and yes, they are playing inspired volleyball right now, but Nebraska has weapons at every position, and they have a strength at the net that no one has found a way to duplicate all season long. Plus, no one knows Wisconsin volleyball better than Nebraska head coach John Cook. He spent 7 years with the program and recruited and trained the majority of this Wisconsin team. So not only can he devise ways to beat them, but he has the weapons to do it. And that starts with National Player of the Year, Gracia Lee Sapero. She sets the tempo of the game and dictates the outcome. And that strength continues with a lineup that averages 6-2 in every rotation. Now, I think the key for Wisconsin has to be finding that third attacker in addition to Livingston and Mostrick. And for Nebraska, well, the tone of this match will be dictated by its block. Chris, back to you.
All right, it's going to be a beauty. Nebraska and Wisconsin for the national championship. Game 1 will be a key. We'll come back to starting lineups, the first serve, right after this.
Kicking it at Kiva. Kicking it at Kiva. Awesome. Kicking it at Kiva.
Kicking it at Kiva.
Kicking it at Kiva.
Exciting.
Kicking it.
Fun.
Kicking it at Kiva.
Kicking it at Kiva.
I tell you, this phone can now replace this phone completely. AMS has a family cellular phone plan with shared minutes that includes long distance, caller ID, voicemail, and many other features, all at competitive rates with your current phone company. Most importantly, it provides family accessibility. Now, that's security. The AMS family plan has everyone talking. Quite literally. AMS, we keep your family connected.
College?
I bet you do.
I bet you do.
Remember the highs, the lows,
The pressure?
the party?
Are you kidding me? You're going to risk your hard-earned cash
Take food off your table. Off your table?
betting on
18-year-old kids?
kids.
You might as well.
Throw your money away.
Fool.
Fool.
So watch our games for this kind of
This
action,
kind of action.
not this.
Not this.
Because if you're banking on me,
To make your day?
don't.
Don't bet on it. Don't bet on it.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Volleyball Championship is brought to you by Spalding, official ball for NCAA Volleyball Championships. Richmond Coliseum is alive with volleyball fans. Husker red, evidenced everywhere. The Wisconsin Badgers are out in force, and we are getting ready for what we hope is going to be a terrific final. Wisconsin starting 6.
Well, you have to look at number 12, Jenny Mostrick, and number 18, Teresa Livingston. Those two combined for over 55% of Wisconsin's offense.
Pete Wade is in his second year, the Big Ten Coach of the Year. And he is a superb young coach. Now the Nebraska Huskers loaded, Heather.
In fact, I think you could talk about any of these 4 hitters, but the key tonight has got to be Angie Oxley. She's not putting up huge numbers, but she's the one player who runs points, plays defense, passes the court. They really don't have anybody that can sub for her if she's having an off night.
An emotional matchup for John Cook. In his first year at Nebraska, as Heather mentioned up top, spent 7 years at Wisconsin. He recruited virtually all of these women on the Wisconsin team. He has an allegiance there. It's his dream final. His current team against his former team. Set, ready to go. Best 3 out of 5. First 4 games, traditional scoring. The 5th and final game, if necessary, is rally scoring. Each game to 15, must win by 2. There is no cap. And that ball is shanked out of bounds, and Nebraska will get the first side out.
And don't forget, Wisconsin playing without one of its starters on the opposite. Claudia Rodriguez dislocated her shoulder for a second time in the semifinal win on Thursday. There's a look at Rodriguez. Will not play. The pressure is on number 11 for Wisconsin, Lori Rittenhouse, to fill in her spot. Nebraska
relying a lot on its block in this tournament so far. There's Livingston. They're going to be jumping on her. Free ball, Nebraska, looking for a point. Sapero sets left. Nebraska is not a great outside hitting team. They'd like to get the ball into the middle if they can. That's what they do pretty well. And one of the best. No, check that. The best blocker in the country.
Amazing to think in a semifinal, a national semifinal, there they are, 23 blocks for Nebraska. Hawaii had just 8, Wisconsin 17. These are 2 very good defensive teams. It will be a battle at the net.
That was Amber Holmquist, and that's going to be a lift. Our first referee today making the call is Mary Holly. Mary Holly is up. There's Mary. And Joel Reinford. Joel Reinford is our second official. Now, Sarah Urbanek comes in to serve, a junior from Sussex, Wisconsin. 1-0 Nebraska in game 1. And the ball hit straight down by Amber Holmquist. So Holmquist has a block, and she has a kill. She's a 6'4 senior from Houston.
And, Chris, I think Wisconsin must serve a little bit tougher than that. They need to pull Sapero off the net to have success in this. Get at least 2 blockers up on every attack.
Here is Kim Behrens. The senior, little tip shot, nicely done. Lizzie Fitzgerald, really the unsung member of this Wisconsin team. You hear a lot about Livingston, you hear a lot about Mostrick, but Fitzgerald really makes that offense go.
Well, and it's hard to believe that she has had to battle for her starting position all season long with Morgan Shields, and last year as well. She's never had it secured until about midway through this season.
Pick up by Wisconsin, chance for a point. Sapero sits left. One thing Nebraska does very well, obviously, is block, but they also scramble. So does Wisconsin. And the put away on the left. That is Laura Pilikowski, the sophomore from Columbus, Nebraska.
Pilikowski playing after having appendectomy surgery on November 21st. This time, tools the right hands of Fitzgerald. I think that that's what Sapero wants to do, is set over Fitzgerald as often as possible.
Here is Lindsay Wishmeyer. She led the team in digs on Thursday night against Hawaii. Set left, here comes Mostrick. So far, Wisconsin not hitting with authority. There's a little bit of authority. Sharisa Livingston hit .386 this year, the first Wisconsin Badger to be named first-team All-America.
And with every due, I mean, she deserved it more than anybody in this country, this first-team All-American, and certainly was a Player of the Year candidate. Hit with authority up there.
Now, Livingston goes out. She's replaced by Gardner. Livingston does not play in the back row because Wisconsin has some tremendous defensive specialists. Jenny Kropp gets the kill. You see mostly a set lineup for Nebraska with the exception of Lindsay Wishmeyer.
And these are the 3 rotations that Nebraska really wants to capitalize on. When Livingston is on the bench, they can score points in a hurry.
Pretty good pass coming around the right side, and the ball is put away by Megan Conan. She played 3 years at Texas, came to Wisconsin, and she was transformed from an outside hitter to a middle, Heather.
And this is a huge burst of confidence, not only for Conan, but the entire Wisconsin team. If she can provide some offense, she's playing on a very gimpy sprained ankle, about 80%. Also a hyperextended elbow for Conan.
Nice shot. Angie Oxley. Oxley, a senior from Ogallala, Nebraska. 7 Nebraskans on this roster. They like to get the homegrown little girls when they start off and development into Husker women, and that has been working very well. First with Terry Pettit, now with John Cook. Mostrick over the top. She's not hitting with authority yet. Here comes Kim Behrens, and Behrens wails it. Good shot by Behrens. Make it 2-0 Nebraska.
You know, I talked to former head coach Terry Pettit, who coached for 23 years at Nebraska, and I said, does Kim Behrens have to have a huge game for Nebraska to win? She's the L2. She's the one that's not relied upon for her offense. And Terry said, you know what? I don't think so. As long as she can pass and play defense and play her role, Nebraska's in good shape.
Fitzgerald. And the put away, Megan Conan. Conan's a senior from Dubuque. There is the former head coach for Nebraska, now doing radio, Terry Pettit.
I asked him if he gets nervous, and he said, all season long, it hasn't bothered me, but last night I certainly got a little bit of a pit in my stomach, a couple of butterflies, and I said, do you wish you were on the bench? And he said, no, I have all the faith and trust in the world in John Cook and his coaching staff. I'm just nervous for Nebraska.
One of the great men in the history of women's collegiate volleyball. Really has done a terrific job. 2-0 Nebraska in game one. The spike off the hands, out of bounds. Pretty good shot there by Aaron Bird.
And this is huge for Wisconsin. They are getting some offense from players that don't normally provide the spark. Aaron Bird and Megan Conan have come in and really been the go-to players in game one.
Teresa Livingston back into the front line. That's good news for Badger fans. Out of the middle, double contact. Ball might have been a little wet, went through the hands of Sapero. Sapero, the National Player of the Year, announced yesterday. She is a terrific prospect for the national team. A sophomore from Puerto Rico. All 6'2". 2-1 as Wisconsin scores its first point. Around the horn goes Holmquist. You know, when Holmquist is that far outside, I think the Wisconsin defense has to stay more cross court, because that's where it's going.
When you look at it, right in here is where they need to stay to block rather than going outside, because when you're hitting that slide ball, the only way you can face is sharp cross court.
Well, Nebraska set to serve. Here is Angie Oxley. Fitzgerald double pump, and through the block goes Teresa Livingston. Livingston has 3 kills.
What I love about Livingston's game is the versatility. Look at this double quick. That is an awesome play to run. Such sophistication and so much timing, and you need the ball control. And it works flawlessly.
Urbanek with the serve. 2-1 Nebraska. I think when you're handicapping this match, at least the way I do it, for Wisconsin to have a chance, they have to win game one, because Nebraska lifetime, as we discussed in the semifinals, Heather, 95% when the Huskers win game one in Huskerville career.
Exactly, and they've also had 3-0 sweeps in 25 of their 33 matches, so they like to get it done in a hurry. And I think, you know, that all the pressure in the world is on Nebraska. They're hoping to become the second undefeated team to win a national championship. Long Beach, of course, did it earlier. And I think Wisconsin, nobody anticipated that they'd be here. They were kind of a dark horse and playing inspired volleyball, and they've got nothing to lose.
Had a median year in 1999. Here comes Mostrick. Badgers need Mostrick to terminate. If she can't, it's going to be a long day. Little tip shot, nicely done. Laura Pilikowski led the Huskers in kills this year, 4-1.
Good communication this time. Sapero asking for help. Always the second ball unless you call it off. And Pilikowski just a smart attacker, and that's something that worried Pete Waite. She doesn't have tendencies that are easy to read.
Livingston over the top. Teresa is a junior now from Simi Valley, California. Last year kind of limited. Could hit a one straight down and could block one right in front of her. She has really improved this year. Tremendous strides, taking it to the next level. First team All-America. She has 4 kills. So far, the Nebraska offense has been humming, and finally a hitting error. So Nebraska makes a hitting error, and Wisconsin gets its second point. Wisconsin on the year, 33-3 losses to Florida, Ohio State, and Penn State.
And in those losses, serving a huge key for Wisconsin, especially that loss to Penn State in Big Ten play. Serving a factor for the Badgers tonight.
Mostrick with the tip. Huskers are scrambling. 4-2, free ball coming. Watch for Livingston. Watch for 18. Here she comes. Instead, set it to Mostrick, and she puts it away. Mostrick, number 12. Livingston, number 18. They will get, what would you say, 60% of the sets at least?
Exactly. Had 20 kills in the semifinal win against Southern California. They're bringing it in a little bit quicker, a little bit lower. That's what they need to do against this Nebraska block. What Hawaii did not do is quicken up their offense. They were setting high rainbow-type balls, high and tight to the outside. Makes it so much easier for Nebraska's block to just clamp down on them. Look for Wisconsin trying a quicker offense.
First kill for Grace Lee Shapiro. Shapiro is a tremendous offensive threat. good. It looked ugly, but it's good. And a stuff block by Jenny Kropp. And that's a hitting mistake made by Mostrick. She showed cross court, went cross court, and these Husker middle blockers are big.
Especially in chaotic plays when you know the ball is going to the outlet on the outside. You have to be crafty knowing that 2 blockers are up.
Good serving by Nebraska so far. Here comes Livingston.
All day, Chris. All day long. Fitzgerald with the incredible jump set. And you got to watch how high she lost that ball up. It's just like a balloon. Just lets Livingston use that athleticism. I mean, that's like a 2 that I used to hit. That's not a 1 in my book, and that's a phenomenal play.
5-3 our score. Livingston goes out. Down the line, nice dig. Trying to tip it over. Nebraska goes and gets it. Set left side, Pelikowski. Little chop on the floater, Fitzgerald. Into Mostrick. Mostrick's having a lot of trouble right now. She's off to a sluggish start. No kills in 4 attempts. So Jenny Mostrick, who was All-America on the right side last year, switched this year to left side. Had a great year, but did not make All-America.
And played like an All-American in the semifinal win. I think she's a little bit tense also. Wisconsin not with the ball control that she needs.
21 kills in that semifinal win. Over the top and down. Nice shot. I tell you, you hear a lot about Amber Holmquist being the leading blocker in the country, but this Jenny Kropp, she is terrific.
Had a huge night against Hawaii. 16 kills, 6 team blocks to lend to those 23 for the team. I mean, just a blocking specimen.
Sapero with the serve. Set left Mostrick. And Mostrick's best hit so far of the match. Turned line and ripped it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the first time that we've seen her turn line, and I like her mixing it up because Nebraska knows that both Mostrick and Bird like to go sharp cross court when they can.
Fitzgerald with the serve. She gets the ace. Now, right before the match started, Heather Cox and I went over to Pete Waite and we asked him, who are you going to serve? And he said, Angie Oxley, number 2. We're going to start on her and work our way inward.
And they continue. They want to move her.
Another straight pass.
Oh, wow. And that's exactly what they wanted to do, is move her short, deep, because she is an attacker in this rotation with Sapero as a back row player. Now they're moving her to the middle of the court, trying to mix it up. But look, Fitzgerald will now go to area 6 in the middle of the court and move her deep. They do.
2 shanks can make you think. Sapero sets left. Pelikowski. Now, Pete Waite also told us that Pelikowski's going to hit a lot of fluffy balls fading away on the inside. Hawaii wasn't able to dig some of those plays, but he's hoping his defenders will stay deep, Heather.
Yeah, he called him an inside-out sailor. Very tough to read. They kind of waffle on you.
6-5 our score. Taking a whack at it was Megan Conan. Conan playing on the bad ankle, kind of limping around out there. Nice up by Sapero. Here comes Kropp. And the Badgers are into the net. Badgers are into the net. Point Nebraska. Game 1 of this best 3 out of 5 game match. Here is Pelikowski. Pretty good pass. Fitzgerald back set. Mostrick off speed. Nebraska goes and gets it. Set left, Barron. Scooped out. Mostrick again. Nice dig in the backcourt. Pelikowski, Kropp tries to jam it. It's Doug. Conan off one leg, and she puts it away. She couldn't jump against USC on Thursday night, but she did lead the team with 14 digs. She's got 3 kills already,
And
Heather.
she's off to a quick start, and I think that's huge. Any pressure that this Wisconsin team can take off of Livingston and Mostrick offensively is going to help them.
7-5 our score. Over the top, ball dug, and it's out of bounds. Wisconsin missing some usual digs. And Nebraska getting some kills, and now Jenny Kropp, a junior from Grand Island, Nebraska, set to serve. 7-5, game 1. Interesting game 1. Boy, is that ugly, but it's legal these days, folks. Unbelievable. Sapero sets it left. Nice save by her. Trying to slam it and jam it is number 11, Lori Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse, once again, subbing for Claudia Rodriguez.
And she has been impressive. I mean, coming in just the most tense of circumstances in the regional semis and finals last week, and now in the semis and finals for a title. And, you know, she's young. She's just a sophomore, doesn't have very much playing experience.
Sapero sets to the left. And once again, the Badgers are into the net. So that is registered as a blocking error. There is Sharissa Livingston. So far, 5 kills for Livingston. Hit 250 in the semi, 21 kills, 6 blocks. Actually played a lot better than that. There were some sets that went right over the net. Pretty good pass there. Out of the back line, Mostrick. Chance for Nebraska point. Sapero back set. And bouncing it off the tape was Amber Holmquist. Amber Holmquist getting the kill.
And that was just a sweet set by Sapero, and a redirection. So hard for setters to change the direction of the ball.
Game 1, the national championship match. The Huskers with a 3-point lead.
He's been naughty. She's real nice. So what happens when a railroad tycoon unwraps a 120-pound present? Find out this December in Thank You, Santa.
Forget those other holiday movies. See the only one worth seeing. The one with that handsome green guy.
Peel the label off specially marked 2 liters of Sprite and get $4 off the movie of your choice.
This holiday season.
Whoa, lighten up with that aftershave.
I can hear what women think.
Hello, my little sweet buns.
One man is listening to what women want.
I don't know how this happened, but you may be the luckiest man on earth.
And getting in touch with his feminine side. Mel Gibson.
Dad, what are you doing?
Exfoliating. Helen Hunt.
Oh, God, I just looked at his crotch.
What women want.
Oh, I just looked at it again.
Rated PG-13. Now playing in theaters everywhere.
Game 1, Nebraska leading Wisconsin 8-5. A little earlier, we talked to John Cook, the head coach of Nebraska. Here's what he said about coaching against his former team.
I'm happy for Wisconsin. Like I said, those kids have suffered through a lot. They, the coach left, but Pete's done a great job, and Wisconsin's been right to be in a Final Four. So I'm just really happy for the program and all those fans up there have been great fans.
John Cook actually called Pete Waite when he knew he was leaving last February and said, "Are you interested in the job? If you are, I will recommend you." And Pete Waite telling us right before the match, he was just shocked. Went outside,
he went out to his assistant and said, "Can you believe who just called me?"
Guess who called me? John Cook.
That's how I feel, Hart Fry called me once, and it was the first, I just was like, you're not going to believe who I just hung up the phone with. You're just kind of in awe.
Pete Waite, John Cook. First game of the national championship. Here is Sarah Urbanek. Nebraska's played a little bit better than Wisconsin so far. What would you say the key has been for Nebraska?
Well, I think their block, they already have 2 quick blocks, and their hitting efficiency, they're hitting 56% right now and showing us a lot of balance. I think for Wisconsin, they need to do a little bit better job defending Nebraska's outside hitters, really digging that cross court and getting some transition game going.
I would agree. Here comes Livingston. She tips it, and it's out of bounds. The set too wide, make it 9-5.
I was talking to John Cook about this Wisconsin group of players, and he said Jenny, Lizzie, and Sharisa, all 3 of them have been in 3 regional finals, all of which they lost. And really, the pain of losing that gave them the strength to get here and all sorts of adversity. I mean, don't forget they lost 2 starters with injury a week ago.
That was a big hit by sophomore Erin Bird. She's from Glen Ellen, Illinois.
Second kill for Bird, and this is just an outlet play. Nowhere else to go. 2 blockers up, but Bird finds the seam right in the middle of the 2 blocks.
Set high left. Pelikowski down the line. I agree with you, Heather. They're getting Nebraska to set the ball outside, yet they're not blocking them, and they're missing digs.
Exactly. So half the battle is there. They're really, with their serve, forcing them to go high and outside and do a slower tempo attack, but they've got to form up a little bit more of a solid defense.
Say of the 2 teams, Wisconsin is the team that looks a little tight to me right now. That doesn't seem they're playing at the top of their game. Nebraska does look like it. Inside the block, pretty good dig there. Here comes Pelikowski. There's that sailor you were talking about, Heather. Livingston, and Livingston. One thing I love about Livingston, she can explode from anywhere. That time she got blocked. The hands over the net, but she gets up so quick. Sapero was there.
And she just needs to get up before Kropp. This time, Kropp and Sapero going up at the same time. I think Livingston just needs to beat them to the ball.
10-5, Nebraska. And that serve is out of bounds. You're wondering how the Huskers got here. They beat Princeton 3-0. They struggled against South Carolina, winning 3-2. Ohio State 3-0. Arizona 3-0. 3 tough games. And Hawaii 3-1.
So many people were shocked at that 5-game win over South Carolina, and I talked to assistant coach Stacy Wolf about it, and she said, we just weren't prepared. We took them for granted. We came in, and they exposed our weaknesses, and one of those big weaknesses was their ability to dig the set or dump. So look for Fitzgerald to attack on 2 quite a bit.
10-5, Wisconsin scrabbling. Here comes Nebraska. Sapero, they're ready for that one. Set left. Bostrick. It may be my imagination, but it seems like the crowd is pulling for the Badgers here.
You know, I think so, too. I think they're the dream team that's here. You know, everybody's living vicariously through them. Great push set by Fitzgerald. Look at the strength in her legs on the jump set to get that ball high and outside to Mostrick.
10-6. Passes high. Sapero sits left. Pilikowski down the line. Boy, she's hitting well. 5 kills for Pilikowski.
There's a look at Stacy Wolf, the assistant coach, and you know, we talked about that South Carolina near loss and nearly a very early exit for this team, and Stacy Wolf said, hey, we just came in and we were relaxed, we just weren't motivated, we took it for granted that we could beat them.
10-6, our score. Christy Johnson, the setter for the Huskers in '95, an assistant on the Wisconsin squad. So there's really some intermingling between these two teams.
In fact, Christy Johnson and Terry Pettit spent a good time before this match talking, catching up.
That ball out of bounds, and Nebraska taking charge here now.
Certainly some split loyalties here tonight.
So Nebraska and Johnson were together. Cook at Wisconsin was Pettit's protege. He went to Huskerland, left his assistant there, called Pete Wade. Wade is there. Wow. So write all that down. 10-6. Nebraska shovels it over, but out of bounds. Huskers, a very smart team as well as athletic. 7 Huskers made academic all Big 12. Bright team, very athletic, and undefeated at 33-0. Out of the back line, Pilikowski, ball dug. Chance for a point. Look at Mostrick, tip. Oh, Nebraska. All over it. Scooping right. And putting it away was number, that was number 11, Lori Rittenhouse.
And you know, Chris, you talk about Christy Johnson's experience at Nebraska. Well, no players for Wisconsin have ever played in NCAA championships, but all 3 coaches have. Kind of interesting that they're using that national championship experience to help bring the team up to speed a little bit more quickly.
Set left. Was there a touch? Yes. Touch, Nebraska, point.
You know, Christy Johnson played on that 95 national championship team. Robert Paliza played in 2 national championships, 94 and 95 at Ball State. And Pete Waite, also a player at Ball State, played in national championships as well in 79.
Game 1 of the national championship match. Huskers leading the Badgers 10-8, but the Badgers may be starting to get a little bit of momentum.
She will always remember Christmas 2000. How is up to you. A diamond is forever.
Award-winning beers.
Don't stop. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Back in Richmond, Virginia, game 1, Nebraska leading Wisconsin 10-8. We've got a basketball doubleheader for you on ESPN. First is the Missouri Tigers taking on number 25 Iowa at the Carver Hawkeye Arena. Missouri led by forward Kareem Rush. And then a little bit later, the Tulsa Golden Hurricane against the number 8 Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas with big Eric Chenoweth, Southern California. Chris Marlowe, Heather Cox at the Richmond Coliseum. Got a big crowd to watch 2 teams that are not from the West Coast. Only the second time it has happened in NCAA volleyball history. The first time, 1995, Nebraska defeating Texas. So it's really been a match so far controlled by Nebraska. And you're kind of surprised that the Huskers aren't farther ahead. It's 10-8. Out of the back line, here comes Mostrick, and she missed it. Badgers were begging for a touch. They didn't get it. Now, here comes Amber Holmquist back in the front line. 10-8 our score. It was 10-5.
And Holmquist off to a great start. 4 kills already on 5 swings. And she has the ability, once she gets hot, she's hot throughout an entire match. She can take over.
Down the line, shot missed. Rittenhouse missed it. 11-8.
And now 9 hitting errors for Wisconsin. I think they're almost worried a little bit too much about that Nebraska block, trying to hit past them rather than just trying to run some crosses and some, double quicks to get by them.
Coming on the run, ball blocked off the bat of Burt. Free ball. Shapiro back set. Doug Oxley. Shapiro looks for the jam and the look call. So our first referee, Mary Hawley, is not letting the one-hand set go.
Not at all. We've had 3 ball handling calls already on Nebraska in this first game.
Strict interpretation of the setting, does that help or hurt Nebraska or Wisconsin?
I think it hurts Nebraska because I think Rachel Shapiro is a player that likes to use her athleticism to deliver some funky, fun balls. I don't think it hurts Fitzgerald as much.
I agree. They pass the ball high, and sometimes the hands get a little bit glued.
And she loves to jump set every ball that she can to just try and decoy and hold that Wisconsin block up.
Here's Angie Oxley, replaced Nancy Maindring in the lineup when Maindring decided to redshirt. Quite frankly, most people thought that Nebraska was a year away, and I heard a lot of dialogue this week about they told Maindring to redshirt, and because they thought that next year would be the year, and now they're one step away from the national championship. Could they use her?
Well, I don't think they need her right now.
Okay.
I mean, they've had so much amazing success, and I think it would just change the chemistry and everything about this season.
11-8, Shapiro one-on-one. See ya. Kim Behrens, the senior from Chapel, Nebraska.
There's Nancy Maindring, 2-time All-American, opted to redshirt. She said, I played volleyball for 2 years without a break. She went and trained with the national team in January. She didn't know when she'd be back. If she made that Olympic team, she'd miss the first couple weeks of the season, so opted out.
She's got to be dying on the inside right now, don't you think? Livingston, and she pounded it out. So Nebraska gets another point, and the Husker fans come alive. 12-8. Nebraska has led all the way. Timeout, Wisconsin. 10 hitting errors for Pete Waite's Badgers. So he'll talk it over with Robert Paliza and Christy Johnson. On ESPN2 tonight, a little bit later after volleyball, we've got the Las Vegas Showdown for you. The Oregon Ducks and the Auburn Tigers. Oregon led by Brian Bracey and Frederick Jones. Auburn has a terrific player, Marquise Daniels. And then the second part of the Las Vegas Showdown, number 18, Cincinnati Bearcats against UNLV running Rebels from Thomas and Mack, Cincinnati, Kenny Satterfield, Donald Little in that group. UNLV, Kaspars, Kampala, Heather Cox's favorite player, the bald guy with the big muscles. Remember him?
Oh, yeah, you gotta love that.
Oh, yeah. For more, log on.
Whatever you say, Marlo.
ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. Go.com. Part of a very enthusiastic crowd here. Little Red pumping up for the last 3 points. The Nebraska mascot, Big Red. Big Red or Little Red?
Little Red.
I'll tell you, Little Red has got a big head. I'll say that.
And he should. His team's undefeated.
Holmquist in the semis, good. Hitting, good. Blocking, outstanding. Teresa Livingston has to get going for Wisconsin to have a chance. Livingston so far has 5 kills. Well, she also has a couple of errors. 5 kills, 3 errors, and 11 attempts, hitting just 182. They need to get the ball to Teresa a little bit more. They set her out on the left this time, and she pounds it.
That's been a place where she's found a lot of success. That's something new to Teresa's game this year, a lot more versatility. What Wisconsin needs to do right now is focus on eliminating those hitting errors. Nebraska has an uncanny ability to alter the way opponents swing at the ball, and I think that's what they've done in this first game.
Shapiro gets it over, and it's poked out of bounds. That set going a little bit wide. Point. So Wisconsin gets a point, make it 12-9. And continuing to serve will be Aaron Burr, top defender on the team. Pretty good pass. Shapiro sets left. And here's what I don't know why are they giving Pilikowski so much line? They're giving her 3 yards of it.
I know, because she can take it. You know, I am so impressed with the way that Nebraska's outside hitters have played in this first game. Pilikowski 6 kills, Barron's 5 kills. The outsides have combined for 11. This is a team that says it's a middle blocking team, and yet the outsides are winning game 1 so far.
Wishmeyer with the serve. Back set, Livingston. Nice up. Sapero sets left. Pilikowski automatic. Automatic. 8 kills. Point, Nebraska.
You know, she's got such a heavy shoulder. Look at this huge arm swing she takes, and the way that she drops that right shoulder at the last minute to just crank it inside the middle block.
Well, that's really a mark of a good hitter. The block moves inside, you pound it down the line, make them eat it. If they come out, you what's that? The sailor.
The sailor.
The sailor.
The inside-outside sailor.
Make the sailor. Popeye him on the cross court. Sapero. And Nebraska is humming. Jenny Kropp pounds it down. And suddenly, it is game point. Wisconsin will use its last timeout. And we'll use one of ours. We're coming back as John Cook's Nebraska Huskers try to close out game 1. 14-9 when we return.
I'm so loud and proud you hear it. It's Christmas time and we got the spirit. Jack Frost chillin', the hawk is out, and that's what Christmas is all about. The time is now, the place is here, and the whole wide world is filled with cheer. My name's DMC with the mic in my hand, and I'm chillin' and coolin' just like a snowman. So open your eyes, lend us an ear. We want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!
Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night.
It's only right. The only one for me is you, and you for me. So happy together.
I will not do it.
To the greatest fans, thanks to all the fans out there.
Thanks for being there when we needed you most.
Thanks for coming out, and we'll keep showing up for you. Thanks for your support. Love you. Mwah.
14-9 Nebraska. The woman leading the way, Laura Pilikowski.
Hard to believe that a year ago she didn't even suit up for the NCAA tournament. She was that deep in the substitution pattern. This year she is the reason that this team is here and off to an incredible start. 7 kills, hitting 40% on the outside.
8 kills, hitting 400. Heather Cox-like numbers, big numbers. Now, first game point for Nebraska, and it's a terrific lineup up front. They have a tremendous defender, server ready to go, Lindsay Wishmeyer from Berkshire, Nebraska. This could be it right here. Set left, Maastricht. Maastricht has been ineffective so far in game 1. Hitting 0, and now she's stuck for game point. So the Nebraska block pays dividends, the 4th stuff for the Huskers, and that's the end of game 1.
4 blocks right on the per-game average for Nebraska, and it clearly changed the way Pete Waite's squad swung at the ball. It altered their attacking. I also don't think that they got the balance that they were looking for. They weren't able to go to the middle very often because of the way Nebraska served.
Nebraska wins game 1, 15-9, utilizing the big block. We'll continue with more live volleyball from the Richmond Coliseum right after this.
Every client that does a television schedule with us is also on cable, and I don't think there is any business that shouldn't be on cable. The real value of Charter for both the sales and the production is they bring back what I've asked for, but then they'll go ahead and they'll do something more. There's a handful of vendor partners that we work with, and Charter Media is one that we always welcome.
Learn more about the power of cable advertising. Call Charter Media today.
Now is the perfect time to join a world-class fitness center. Madison's finest. The Princeton Club is open 24 hours a day. Everything is included in your membership.
ESPN Classic. Call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
Game 1 going to Nebraska, 15-9. set for the start of Game 2, along with Heather Cox. I'm Chris Marlowe. Statistically, boy, Wisconsin made a lot of errors, Heather.
Exactly, and the reason they made errors is because of these 4 Nebraska blocks. I mean, Nebraska alters the way that you swing at the ball. When you look at those 11 hitting errors for Nebraska, that is the reason that they lost Game 1, and Nebraska just came on fire in the end of this first game. A couple of things for Wisconsin to try and do is move Maastricht around, get her into a little bit more open territory. You know, in the semis, she hit 29% for her team. Tonight, hitting negative with just 3 kills, but she's taken a lot of swings. She's taken 20 swings out there. They need to move her around. I'd like to see her coming for a 2, maybe on an X play, maybe even go behind the set or a 32, some quicker things to get a seam in that Nebraska block.
I haven't seen all the Wisconsin matches this year, but I would venture to say that's the worst game that Jenny Maastricht has played this year and maybe in her Wisconsin career. When you hit 20 balls and you have 3 kills, that is death for the Badgers. So we'll see if Game 2, what changes are made. Nebraska starts with the serve. Once again, Nebraska trying to become just the 2nd team in volleyball history to win a national championship and finish unbeaten. Long Beach did it 2 years ago. Brian Gemellara's squad finishing 36-0.
And they're playing with so much confidence. Look at the way they move out in tandem against that slide. I mean, the block has been such an emphasis all season long for John Cook, and it shows. It's paying dividends this weekend.
Yeah, I like the way that Erin Bird is swinging at the ball. Quite frankly, she's swinging at the ball better than Maastricht, better than Livingston.
And, you know, she's a top. She is just a sophomore, and she's been relied on all season long for her pass, her defense, and her serve. Any offense she provides is just an extra perk.
Sarah Urbanek will serve, and she gets the ace. Sarah Urbanek is a very interesting story. She started her career at, was it Northern Iowa?
Exactly,
at
with Pete Waite.
With Pete Waite, and then when Pete Waite decided to go to Wisconsin, she followed him.
Northern Illinois, actually.
Northern Illinois, and she said, I want to be a Badger. I want to be a Badger for life. That ball goes down. That's Husker time, side out. 1-1. And now Behrens will serve it. Passes off the net. Fitzgerald. Maastricht still struggling.
So frustrating. She was so successful out of the back row in the semifinal win. And, you know, she's trying to keep a smile on her face. And she's the type of player you just need to keep going to establish her, get that confidence going. She's a rhythm type of player.
Yeah, she's guiding the ball now, which is not good against this huge block. Lizzie Fitzgerald says, I'll throw one down.
And she's trying everything she can do to just, you know, change the tempo and dictate the tempo and get this team fired up. I mean, you can see they're a little bit slow, a step behind everything.
Set left. Doug. Fitzgerald into Livingston. And she puts it away. Point.
You know, Livingston has such big hands and such a long arm swing. When you float that 31 up there, she's always finding success because she just hangs, and waits until there's an opening in the block.
Zelikowski, Doug. Chance for Wisconsin to take the first lead of the match. And they do. Badgers 3, Huskers 2 here in Game 2.
And Livingston starting to feel it. You know, she's known as being a big-time player in the big-time matches. And so far... You know, this is what they need, a little bit of energy. They're quickening their step. They're a little bit more fired up. You can feel the change suddenly.
Erin Bird with the ace. We're in the midst of Game 2. Wisconsin starting to put together some plays.
Sam Adams, the world's most award-winning beers.
Don't stop, keep on doing what you're doing.
Voglio staccare. Guardalo, guardalo. Torna dalla mamma. Non è la tua fidanzata, dai che la mia gioca meglio. Stai giù con le gambe, difendi. Ok, vieni qua, prima lezione. Giù con le gambe e gli stai addosso.
Lascialo stare, lascialo stare, lascialo stare.
Basta, è impossibile marcarlo.
Non ti preoccupare, adesso cambiamo le squadre.
Va bene, dai. Ok, adesso la palla è mia.
Dove vai? Dammi la palla. Questa è la mia casa.
Nebraska winning game 1, 15-9. Wisconsin ahead in game 2, 4-2. Of course, the winner of game 1 has had some success, Heather Cox.
Certainly so important, has won 68% of the matches. In fact, 7 of the last 8. So much of it is establishing that momentum, that confidence that is more crucial in a match of this magnitude than any other match throughout the season.
The emotional spark on Thursday night, Claudia Rodriguez. She had dislocated her shoulder a week ago, decided to play on Thursday night, played for 10 points, put the 11th ball away, then dislocated it again. Obviously, she cannot play today, but what a courageous performance by Claudia Rodriguez. That really set the tone for the big upset win over USC. Livingston takes a whack at it. You feel like Wisconsin has taken its game up to another level.
Yeah, they've got Nebraska on its heels right now.
A little bit. Here comes Livingston, and she's rejected. Good block. Pilikowski. Yeah, Pilikowski. She is having a match so far.
Well, what's so important, you know, so many times we'll watch these championship matches, and the players that don't get talked about a ton, but that are steady eddies throughout the season, sometimes come out and are a little bit scared and don't have the matches that they need to have. But Nebraska, all 6 players are playing with fire right now.
Teresa pounds it through. Nice up in the backcourt. Skidding in there with Oxley. Free ball. Set left. Mostrick missed another one. Wow. Jenny Mostrick wide open, one-on-one. Hit it into the bottom of the net. I tell you what.
She's trying too hard.
If I was ever in a slump, you know, you just got to blast it hard straight away. Don't try to cut it so much. Blast.
If she was going for the power, she was going for the highlight shot rather than just keeping that ball in play.
She's just making it too fine. Too fine. She doesn't need to do that. Here comes Sapero, and Sapero dumps it down.
And that's the veteran savvy coming from a sophomore. Back turn to the basket and able to recognize that this is the wide open area of the court. She sees that no red jerseys are there with her back to the basket, or excuse me, not to the basket, to the net. I mean, realizing where she can get the kill.
You know, Pete Waite was telling us earlier, that's where she will tip the ball. She'll tip it straight down, or she'll throw it back into that corner so the defenders have to wait.
Right, and usually they're playing it a little bit tighter, expecting that hard dump, but she mixes it up. She goes soft and then hard, back and forth, deep, short.
Here goes Jamie Gardner to serve, a senior from West Bend, Wisconsin. 4-4 game 2. Pretty good dig. Slap shot, score. Megan Conan. Conan puts Wisconsin ahead.
Nice heads-up play, too, because Conan is just in the perfect position to react, and good instincts on that play and keeping it inbound.
Gardner again. Block. And I believe that is Wisconsin's first block. It is.
And, you know, this is one of the first bad sets I've seen from Sapero that barely even goes over the plane of the net. Crop needs to poke that up with her knuckle and just keep that ball in play.
Watch for that tip shot. Sapero slides it out to the left. Tip. Down the line. Fitzgerald throws it left. Ostrich got one.
And that's a smart attack. She just went with rhythm, didn't go with power, but just pushed it through. She's got to continue to endure. We talked about the fact that Mostrick and Livingston combined for 60% of Pete Waite's offense. With Livingston on the bench, she needs to have about 80% of the offense.
Absolutely. Mostrick down with 4 kills. Sapero sets left. Pilikowski's been hot. Beautiful dig in the backcourt by Bird. Mostrick tips it, and she puts another one away. Jenny Mostrick starting to heat up a bit.
And this is a sign of a smart, steady, and confident player after numerous hitting errors. Has gone back-to-back for 2 quick kills by being smart. The roll shot, looking at what's available, and knowing that it's not all about power.
John Cook takes his second timeout. He's out of timeouts. Has slowed down Wisconsin's momentum. We're coming back. Wisconsin 8, Nebraska 4 here in game 2.
I'm so loud and proud you hear it. It's Christmas time and we got the spirit. Jack Frost chillin', the hawk is out, and that's what Christmas is all about. The time is now, the place is here, and the whole wide world is filled with cheer. My name's DMC with the mic in my hand, and I'm chillin' and coolin' just like a snowman. So open your eyes, lend us an ear. We wanna say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!
My name is Christina, and my anti-drug is dance.
Back at the national championship, Nebraska won game 1, Wisconsin leading here in game 2.
And we thought that blocks would be an important factor in this match, and so far they have been. Nebraska leads the nation in blocks per game at 4.2, but Wisconsin's success had largely been dictated up until this point on the blocking game as well. So far it's been all Nebraska. Crop, Behrens, and Sapero getting a piece of the action. 5 team blocks, check that, 7 team blocks now for the Huskers. Just 1 for Wisconsin. And this is not the game that Wisconsin normally plays. They win matches based on their defense at the net and in the backcourt.
Serving is Gardner. 8-4 Wisconsin. Sapero sets left, it's inside. Pilikowski dug. Badgers go and get it. Good pass inside. A lot of outside sets. Pilikowski missed it. Point Badgers. Well, if you're the Badgers and you've been outblocked 7-1, you've been out hit, your star, Jenny Mostring, is having an awful match, and yet you're leading in game 2, you have to feel fairly good.
Certainly a bright side to this, definitely. And, you know, if they can fix a couple of those things, the things that they're doing very well is serving tough. They're putting Nebraska on its heels more often than other teams have been able to.
Putting it up on the tip by Bird, but then putting it away with Pilikowski. Do you think the Huskers are setting too much to the outside now?
Well, I do. I'd like to see them go inside a little bit. Wisconsin actually has a lot more attacks out of the middle than Nebraska does, and this is a team that loves to run to both Top and Holmquist.
Sapero with the serve, coming around the horn, Megan Conan.
You know, I especially think that you go to the middle when Livingston is on the bench. Right now, go to Top and just jam it down Wisconsin's throat. Make Conan prove herself right now.
Teresa Livingston is on the bench. She only plays in the front line. But one good omen for Wisconsin is that they're scoring points with Livingston on the bench. In the semifinal, that didn't happen.
Exactly. Even though they swept SC, they scored the majority of their points. I'd say probably about 80% of their points, 85 even, when Livingston was on the floor.
Big spike on the left side. And once again, it's Laura Pilikowski. 9 kills for Pilikowski.
And if you're going to slow Pilikowski down, you have to weight block on her. She hits with a heavy shoulder, which means it's a very low shoulder. She hangs weights and then swings.
10-4. Got a touch. Megan Conan. And keep in mind, she is playing with a very sprained ankle. Conan. Don't forget, we're going to announce the NCAA 20th anniversary all-time team. That's during intermission.
It's a good one.
New video is coming out, 20 years of highlights. It's called Digging It. We'll show it to you.
NCAA Productions has done an amazing job compiling this. I mean, nowhere can you have such a history of the 20 years of NCAA volleyball.
Wisconsin got its second block. And the Badgers are starting to serve better and block better.
Yes, serving has really been the key throughout this game for Wisconsin, and now they get the movement. They're reading Sapero just a little bit better, and that's all Conan. I mean, she's really sparked them the last couple plays.
Sapero sets left, off the top, Behrens. Joust coming maybe. Fitzgerald tries to get there, and a good call by our first referee, Mary Holly. She called that against Nebraska, and she called it against Wisconsin.
Yeah, I like it. She's calling a very even game. Everybody knows now what you can get away with and what you can't.
Got to come out cleanly. Here's Jenny Croft, the junior from Grand Island, Nebraska. Out of the back line, Mostring. That's what happens. You start to go and you get a little momentum, and then even your crummy shots are going down. So Mostring gets 3 kills in a row.
The mojo has moved to the other side of the court.
How about that? So Pete Waite's team up by 7. Now serving will be Conan. And John Cook is going to make a substitution first. Kropp is going to come out, and Jill McWilliams will come in.
And this is a good move. Conan, the best server on this squad, leads the team with 33 aces.
McWilliams is a senior from Des Moines. Deep serve. Oxley, good pass. Ball is blocked. Sapero sets left. Behrens tip. And someone touched the net. I'll tell you what, I'm not sure who's doing it, but someone is touching the net a lot up there. Might be Livingston. Or it could have been, who knows? Could have been Rittenhouse. One of those two. 11-4, game 2. Nebraska won the first. Angie Oxley set to serve. Ball is blocked. Left side, Bird takes a lap. Back set coming, and down the line goes Rittenhouse.
Boy, that's a sweet set, and that's really the first time that we've seen Nebraska's coverage kick in. Wisconsin's coverage kick in. 2 blocks in a row each time the Badgers able to cover, and that's just a sweet push from Fitzgerald all the way back to Rittenhouse. You don't want to keep going to the outside when you get that coverage. You've got to mix it up.
Urbanek with a jump serve. Sapero sets left. Boy, a lot of outside sets now for Nebraska. Aaron Bird with a cut shot. That would work in beach volleyball play. And the quick set. So suddenly, Nebraska unable to get the ball into the middle. And Wisconsin scores its 12th point.
Well, when you look at the number of swings for Nebraska, just 17 total attacks from both Holmquist and Kropp.
Outside hitter Ann Schrod checks in. 6'2" freshman from Lincoln. Trying to jam and doing it while Livingston was right on that, and she missed it.
Anna Schrod comes in just to provide a little bit more firepower and consistency. Interesting that he did it right before she was to rotate into the backcourt. I think he used it more as a timeout tactic than anything else.
Serving is Schrod. They like her a lot. Fitzgerald right back in your face. So Lizzie Fitzgerald, the junior from New Orleans, gets the jam.
And so often when you play against a very offensive setter, you become more offensive yourself. But Fitzgerald all season long, deceptively good at the net as an attacker, about 1.5 kills per game.
12-4, game 2, set left. Kolakowski. Livingston missed it, but she gets the kill.
There's the donut spot wide open. South Carolina exposed it earlier in the tournament. And now Wisconsin's going right at it. They're playing a perimeter defense. Everybody on the sidelines, nobody digging the middle of the court.
Wisconsin has scored 9 points in a row. It was 4-4. It's now 13-4. Could be 14-4. Maastricht. No! She's through. Holmquist was there along with Sapero. So Huskers trying to get their momentum back just a little bit.
Nice movement to the side. He's taking one step out. Holmquist closing with her hips and her shoulders. 4 hands. You can't penetrate through that.
13-4. Holmquist is out. Sapero now manning the front line. Sapero's listed at 6'2", but everybody knows she's 6'4" on a big hair day, Heather, when she is stretched out, firmed up, and she can really block for a setter. Don't see too many of them that can. Watch for Livingston. And the set too low, and Livingston bangs it out of bounds. So Livingston putting some down, hitting some out. She has 9 kills. Haven't seen her really tee off yet, have we?
Well, on the 31s, but not as often as we did on Thursday.
Maastricht inside, off speed. Boy, Nebraska's defense looking good. Kolakowski, ball dug up. Nicely in the backcourt by Conan. Livingston blocked. Nicely done, Livingston. Oh, they call a lift.
Wow, that's a huge play by Jenny Kropp. How about that? Shutting down the All-American.
Oh, Kropp is there. Kropp knows it's going to Livingston. She is ready.
Look at the risk that she takes, though. She's so far off the net in the middle of your court, number 17, and just goes up blind, hoping to get the block, and does.
Lizzie Fitzgerald. What a career she's had. She's just a junior. 6 kills, 46 assists, 7 digs, 6 blocks the other night in the USC win.
Basically getting it done.
Yeah, Lizzie. Now, Jamie Gardner will serve. 4 points in her rotation last time. Sapero slap shot. Going to that a little too much. Maastricht. And she is under by a foot. Set was tight. Maastricht could not get a swing. So, Gracia Lee Sapero, Big 12 Player of the Year, set to tee it up. Set left, Maastricht. Good hit, good dig. Maastricht, great block. She stuffed Angie Oxley.
How about the defense of Nebraska? Unbelievable.
Richmond Coliseum in Richmond, Virginia, the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship. Nebraska won game 1. Wow. Are you surprised they let that one go? That looked like more of a kind of a glove toss.
I think they're a little bit tighter on the sets, and they're letting the attacks go a little bit looser.
Conan getting some good numbers. Remember, she's playing with a bad ankle. 8 kills and 2 blocks, so she's playing a lot better than she did in the semifinals.
Well, she's getting so many more looks than she did in the semis.
13-7, and Kolakowski whacks another one. 10 kills for Laura Pelikowski. That leads all Husker spikers.
And we've seen a lot of balance from Nebraska. I still think that they'd like to establish the middle a little bit more, but perhaps the strategy, go to the outside, open up the middle.
Shank pass, ace serve.
That's the first ace for Nebraska. Up until this point, Wisconsin has certainly been serving tougher, has 4 service aces, Nebraska just 1.
4 in a row for the Huskers. Here they come. Fitzgerald sets left, tip, scooped up, and shoveled over. Nicely done. Wishmeyer out of the back line. Mostrick on the right. Jenny Mostrick played right side last year, Heather, where she was an All-America, and she is probably a better hitter over there than she is over here.
Showing her versatility, came in as the middle, moved to the right side, now to the outside. Pete Waite thought they needed a little bit more firepower on the left side where she gets a lot more swing.
Mostrick with the serve. Sapero. First bad sit by Sapero. Wisconsin gets nothing out of it. Nice hustling by Pelikowski. Set left. Schrod with the drive. And Schrod.
Boy, I've been impressed with her. Watching the development she's made all season long. She's a freshman out of Lincoln. I mean, you can't ask for anything more as a young girl. You dream of wearing that Nebraska jersey if you grow up in Lincoln, and she's really living out her dream right now.
Here comes Jill McWilliams. McWilliams, 5 aces, 8 errors on the year. Have to get number 6 right now and get to 9. Pretty good one, nice and deep. Out of the back line, Mostrick, that's her bread and butter, and she hit it out. She now has 7 kills, Heather, and 8 errors. And a whole pile of attempts. So she is hitting negative, folks.
We talked at the beginning of the match, can Wisconsin find that third attacker? They definitely have to do that if Mostrick's not going to hit positive numbers.
And what a play by number 2, Lizzie Fitzgerald. She went up and got it and really induced the middle blocker to come over and try to stuff it.
Yeah, there was nothing that she could do with that. So she talks the middle into coming over, and that's a violation. You have to let the ball cross the plane of the net before you can attack it.
One of Wisconsin's best rotations here. Livingston back in the front line. And the ball is spiked out down the line. So now the Wisconsin Badgers with their first game point. Conan serving. Sapero into the middle. Oxley dug, but it's going out of bounds right into the Wisconsin rooting section.
And that's something Pete Waite wanted to stop. He thought by serving Oxley they could contain her because she loves to come from the middle of the court and hit those 2s, and she's found a lot of success during the tournament with it.
Ball back to Nebraska. Here is Angie Oxley. Her team trailing by 5, 14-9. And she serves long. So the Wisconsin fans are up once again. Second game point coming up.
You know, it seems when things start to go bad for Nebraska at the net, suddenly their serving game loses confidence. We saw it in the semis as well.
Sarah Urbanek. They're serving Oxley. She's off the net. Set left. That's trouble. Is it still going? 4 contacts, and Wisconsin wins game 2. So the Big Ten and the Big 12 battling it out here in Richmond, Virginia. Nebraska winning game 1, 15-9. Wisconsin winning game 2, 15-9. We're coming back. The NCAA 20th anniversary video. We're going to talk about the top players of all time next, so stay with us.
She will always remember Christmas 2000. How is up to you. A diamond is forever.
He's been naughty. She's real nice. So what happens when a railroad tycoon unwraps a 120-pound present? Find out this December in Thank You, Santa.
Forget those other holiday movies. See the only one worth seeing. The one with that handsome green guy.
Peel the label off specially marked 2 liters of Sprite and get $4 off the movie of your choice.
Imagine a world where coffee breaks last all day.
And where your cutler's always full.
Thank you.
It's where the coffee world meets the cyber world, and you can be there with the new smart Visa cards with remarkable chip technology. And at the Web Shack Cafe in London, you can buy your coffee with Visa, but not American Express, not even Blue. Learn more at Visa.com.
They say all the world's a stage. Mine has to be perfect. 24 actors, animals galore, non-stop action. Odors from bacteria, mold, and mildew can really build up. So, before the curtain goes up, all the fabrics get a good spraying with new Febreze Deep Clean. It sprays on wet, sinks in deep, then dries to eliminate odors, even from bacteria, mold, and mildew. Hey, I can't help it if the play's a stinker, but now I can guarantee odors won't spoil the performance.
New Febreze Deep Clean. The deep down clean for where you live.
Back in Richmond, we played 2 games in our national championship final. Nebraska won 1, Wisconsin won 1. Well, as we've been telling you, the NCAA 20th anniversary video is on the way. It's called Diggin' It. You can order by calling 317-917-6833. NCAA Productions and ABCA created a national ballot with 26 names. Current and former coaches voted on it. The criteria based solely on the accomplishments during the career. You could vote up to 6 players. If you voted for 7, your ballot was thrown out. Welcome back, everybody. Chris Marlowe and Heather Cox. Well, we've been waiting for this all week. First of all, I want to show you what the video is going to look like. This is the video, Digging It. It's beautiful. Now, you'll notice there's no video yet because we're putting it together with all the highlights this weekend, but we have the box, and it's going to be a beauty. And one of the things you'll find inside, the top 6 players of all time as voted by the coaches. We didn't do it, so don't blame us. The coaches.
I don't know how they did it, though. How do you pick just 6 in 20 years of amazing volleyball?
All right, let's go to player number 1, Heather Cox. She is a Long Beach State 49er, and she could crank. Tara Cross.
Tara Cross battle. Long Beach had never been in an NCAA championship match until Tara arrived on campus. They won in '89, beating Nebraska. She was a 2-time National Player of the Year.
Okay, next on the list, a setter from Long Beach State University, Misty May.
And she led Long Beach to the first team to win a national championship with an undefeated record. May also received 3 All-American awards and was voted National Player of the Year. And I think that May really reestablished the setting position in NCAA volleyball.
So Misty May and Tara Cross, the first 2. Well, let's get up to Stanford. One of the Odins had to be on this, maybe more. How about Bev Oden?
Well, Bev Oden's the one that made it. She's the 3rd Oden that dominated collegiate volleyball. She led Stanford to its first title in '92 and really paved the way for Stanford to then claim the title of Team of the Decade. She was voted a 4-time All-American and 2-time National Player of the Year.
All right. A lot of coaches like Long Beach State players. Danielle Scott, a dominator.
In fact, she is the 3rd 49er on the all-time team, an athletic middle blocker, 2-time All-American, and a Player of the Year, led Long Beach to 3 straight NCAA semis and followed it with a national title in 1993.
Now remember, these players, it's regardless of position. It's just the top 6, so don't get bent out of whack as we give you Carrie Walsh.
One of the most versatile players, I think, in the history of NCAA volleyball. Carrie was named a 4-time All-American, also the 1999 Player of the Year, led the Cardinals to 2 NCAA championships.
And finally, you have to have someone from UCLA, don't you?
Of course you do, and it's Natalie Williams, a physically dominating player, dominated the game for 4 years, really established that back row attack, and it's one of the most powerful right-side attackers and blockers the game has ever seen. The first person to be named first-team All-American in both volleyball and basketball, and she rounds out our team of 6. All 6 are Olympians, and all 6 won a national championship.
Okay, don't forget, you can get the video Digging It. You can call right now and make your plans to get that 317-917-6833. Order it today, Digging It, 317-917-6833. All right, we're coming back. Yes, some players were left off that team, and when we come back, we'll talk about a few of the players that just missed. Stay with us.
I tell you, this phone can now replace this phone completely. AMS has a family cellular phone plan with shared minutes that includes long distance, caller ID, voicemail, and many other features, all at competitive rates with your current phone company. Most importantly, it provides family accessibility. Now, that's security. The AMS family plan has everyone talking, quite literally. AMS, we keep your family connected.
join a world-class fitness center, Madison's finest. The Princeton Club is open 24 hours a day. Everything is included in your membership. The Princeton Club is spotlessly clean. Remember, at the Princeton Club, our child care center is always free. The Princeton Club, East and West, open 24 hours.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals? Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue. So don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
Apparently, some people don't know Dremel also makes cordless rotary tools. Dremel cordless rotary tools. For every problem, there's a Dremel solution.
Back at the national championship match, we're tied 1 game apiece, Wisconsin and Nebraska. Back with Heather Cox, I'm Chris Marlowe. Okay, who are the players that just missed some honorable mention selections? Well, I think Dietrich Collins of Hawaii got robbed. My personal favorite, 2-time Player of the Year. She won 2 national championships, one of the first dominant players in women's volleyball.
Exactly, and you know, she's one of the older players, and I think coaches may have forgotten, didn't go back as far. Lauren Ketchiamani, a very recent star, won a title for Penn State in '98, and also Kristen Focal, I think, you know, was just a dominating player all 4 years at Stanford. And Elena Oden, you know, one of the Odens did make it, but how do you not give all 3 of them? But I think you have to give it to Elena, won a title in '85 and '86 at Pacific.
And don't forget Lisa Sharpley, the setter from Stanford, who won 3 championships. So a lot of controversy, a lot of action. We got more for you. Stay with us. We're coming back.
Sam Adams, the world's most award-winning beers.
Don't stop. Keep on doing what you're doing.
My name is Lara Croft, and I'm about to die. I only regret that part of my story remains untold, buried for all time.
Discover Tomb Raider Chronicles: The Lost Adventures of Lara, the first new Tomb Raider game of the millennium, and very possibly the last. Rated T for Teen.
Back at the Richmond Coliseum, Nebraska and Wisconsin locked up 1-1. Highlights, Heather, a lot of them.
A lot of them. In fact, Nebraska's offense sizzling in game 1, hit 43% the first game behind Holmquist and Pilikowski. Also, their block continued to dominate. 18 blocks for Nebraska. In game 2, Wisconsin began to come alive. Mostrick provided some spark in the middle of the game. Their serving was also very potent in this second game, and we are tied up at 1 apiece.
Statistically, Wisconsin way behind, but they really caught up in game 2.
Well, and you still look at that blocking number. I think that Wisconsin would like to up that number a little bit, but what they did is they cut down on the hitting errors. They also were much better at the service line with 4 aces to help them along.
So we're set for the start of game 3. Sharisa Livingston loosening up. Gracia Lee Sapero. If you're wondering good side, bad side, Heather, you know we talk about that a lot on the beach. Huskers are now on the good side because the first 2 games were won on the right side of the court, our right side. The first 2 games were lost on our left side of the court.
The wind or the sun? What do you think?
Well, the wind, the sun, the moon.
That's true.
There you go. All right. What will happen game 3?
What a drop-off. Look at Nebraska from 42% to 0.94. I think they went away from the middle way too much, became an outside-oriented team.
I agree. And the first shot by Lori Rittenhouse drops. I think a lot has to do with a little bit tougher serving by Wisconsin. They're getting them off the net.
Exactly.
And Sapero doesn't like to set the quick when she's
Yeah, she
way
won't
off the
force
net.
it. Lizzie Fitzgerald will set a 31 from the service line. She loves to force the middle, but Sapero's a little bit more conservative in that area.
Sapero sets left. Barron's over the top. Fitzgerald into the middle. Slam dunk.
You know, when you talk about the middle attack, Nebraska's middles have combined for just 20 attacks. When you look at Livingston and Conan, they have combined for 35. And while Livingston and Mostrick aren't hitting for high numbers, they've provided a little bit of diversity.
Wisconsin, a much more experienced team of these two. Yes, Nebraska has tremendous talent, but it is a young Nebraska team. People said they were a year away with sophomores and freshmen.
And already going and establishing that middle attack. I'm sure that's something that the coaching staff wanted to talk about, because what it does is it's always splitting the block, especially when you've got a rookie blocker up there in Lori Rittenhouse.
Nice up. Huskers can get a point here. Barron's coming in, and she's rejected.
You know, Chris, you talk about the experience angle, and Pete Wade talked about that quite a bit. He said, you know, we are battle-tested in the Big Ten. We had 2 losses. We lost to Ohio State and Penn State. We've been through a lot of adversity. You know, Nebraska went through a Big 12 conference that's a little bit down this year, unscathed.
Coming around the horn is Holmquist, and Holmquist pounds it down. So Holmquist at the net. Wisconsin leading game 3, 2-0. Set left. And the ball popped up. Nicely done. And the spike is out.
Pete Wade did not want to give Filikowski any line. He said if we give it to her, she'll take it. That time they gave her just enough to think she could have it, but then it went wide.
Back set. Holmquist tries to jam. And jamming back are the Badgers and Livingston.
Livingston is just so explosive. Look at that. The little bunny hop doesn't even get off the net into transition. Most players can hardly jump like that. She still skies.
3-0 our score. Nebraska starting to get a little tentative. Tip shot. Nice up by Barron's. Filikowski. And Filikowski hit it out. Momentum definitely with Wisconsin right now. 4-0. Timeout, Nebraska. We're coming back to the Richmond Coliseum. The Wisconsin Badgers starting to take control here early in game 3.
My internet service is fast. Yeah, when I throw my computer off the roof.
AT&T WorldNet service has the fastest logon time and the highest speed connection.
My online service is so pricey, I made it sign a prenup.
AT&T WorldNet service is only $4.95 a month. No joke.
My internet service reminds me of my husband. I stare at it for hours, hoping it will move.
#1 in customer satisfaction. J.D. Power and Associates.
My online service must come from a tough neighborhood. Somebody's always getting bumped off.
Fewer disconnects. Call 1-800-WorldNet now and switch to AT&T WorldNet service.
My internet service is so pricey, I had to take a second job as a mail escort.
It's only $4.95 a month, including 6 email addresses, navigation toolbar, chat, and online support.
Ooh, you look hot tonight.
AT&T WorldNet service, only $4.95 a month. Call now.
Wisconsin leading in game 3. A reminder, coming this February, the 2001 NCAA Honors Dinner, one of the greatest nights on the NCAA's annual calendar. Former and present student athletes are honored. Recipients include Drew Brees, Steve Largent, Archie Griffin, Christy Kowal, William Cohen, who will receive the highest honor bestowed by the association, the Theodore Roosevelt Award. Look for that coming this February, the 2001 NCAA Honors Dinner. Back with Heather Cox, I'm Chris Marlowe. This match has turned completely around. Nebraska dominating game 1. Wisconsin coming back to win game 2, but now Wisconsin has momentum here in game 3, and Nebraska struggling. There's a good shot there. Filikowski has been a solid performer for the Huskers, leading them in kills.
Exactly, and she's been very consistent and efficient attacker out there on the outside, which is so important when Nebraska hasn't been able to establish the middle. Already 11 kills now for Filikowski.
4-0 Wisconsin. Wishmeyer back in. Fitzgerald sets left. And a big roof by Sapero.
You know, we've seen that all season long. Sapero's blocking ability almost shines more when she goes one-on-one. Left alone, she can be an athletic blocker. She can drop. She can read the hitter's shoulder, and it pays off.
4 stuff blocks for Sapero so far. Livingston missed it. Point Huskers. So just when you think the Huskers might be struggling a bit, they put together a couple of points.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch how Nebraska reacts in adversity. Hadn't really been tested, was tested against South Carolina earlier in the tournament when they took them to 5, but have had so many 3-0 sweeps.
Livingston over the top. Nice dig by Behrens. Chance for point. Prop. Pop back over. Pilikowski with the sailor. Livingston, it takes 2 blockers out, and Mostrick puts it away. Wow. See the Nebraska blockers. They thought Charissa was getting it.
Do you give the assist to Fitzgerald or to Livingston? Watch everybody hop right there. All the Nebraska blockers up, leaving Mostrick wide open on the outside. How to put a smile on your face.
Jamie Gardner set to serve. Ace serve. So number 5 aces number 5. The defensive specialist.
When you look at Wisconsin's numbers, this is a team that's hitting just 15%. Nobody would think they're even in this match, but their serving and defense has kept them alive. 5 aces now for this team.
Off the top. Prop is dug. Set left. Mostrick. Sapero with the drive. Gracia Lee Sapero. I was talking to the brand new USA women's volleyball coach, Toshi Yoshida, and he was raving about Sapero. He really wants her to be in the national team program. Keep in mind, she's just a sophomore.
Well, I love it, too. People asked her, which team would you play for? Because she is from Puerto Rico. And she said, oh, I could play for anyone. Had so much confidence, and I just loved it.
Pilikowski drives one through. Of course, all Puerto Ricans have that ability to play for their national team or for the United States. Most choose to play for the United States simply because the Puerto Rican national team is not that developed at this time.
In fact, when you look at Gracia Lee Sapero's name, her name in Spanish actually means Greece. Her dad wanted her to be Olympian from the day she was born. Gracia Lee means Greece in Spanish.
Point Huskers. You want to explain that further?
Did I leave you hanging? I think it's pretty interesting that on day 1, her dad knew that she was going to be an Olympian and named her as such.
What was that nickname again?
Named her name, Gracia Lee, is Greece in Spanish.
Greece.
Where Athens were the home of the first Olympics.
I thought you were talking about like bacon fat or something like that. I was saying, well, what about the ham and the eggs? All right, Greece.
Greece.
We could have named her Athens, too. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Game 3, Wisconsin and Nebraska. Slugging it out here. Fitzgerald had the serve outside to Pilikowski, off speed. Set high left. Mostrick against 2, and she goes over the top and down. Mostrick had the worst game 1 of her entire career. She put 3 balls down out of 20. Now she's doing a little bit better. I tell you, she gets blocked, she has a smile. She puts one away, she has a smile. 6-4 our score. Once again, left outside. And looking for touches, no touch detected. This is where Nebraska starts to struggle a bit. If the pass is off and they have to continually go to their outside hitters.
Right, and credit Wisconsin's serving strategy because they are pulling Nebraska to about the 10-foot line in this game once again.
Another bad pass, another set high left.
Outside.
And Badgers are digging. Set Mostrick. And coverage by Wisconsin. That saved the point. Here come the Huskers. Quick set, Prop. She's dug. Fitzgerald sets left. Mostrick again. Off speed, dug back over. What do you set here? Fitzgerald back set. Nobody there. And it's put away by Rittenhouse. That was a nice set by Fitzgerald. Going forward, setting back.
Great set. But look at the put away by Lori Rittenhouse. Just a sophomore. Has played in just 37 games this season. In comparison, players like Fitzgerald have played in 121. Very limited experience going into tonight's match.
Big blast. Pilikowski again. Laura Pilikowski, 14 kills. She has been the star spiker for the Huskers.
Played in just 9 games in 1991. Turned it around drastically in the spring and the summer. Switched positions. Was a middle blocker. Now on the outside and excelling.
8-4. Down the line. Heat. from Megan Conan. Looks like she's got a little more lift than she had Thursday night.
Certainly, you know, that extra day off in between helps so much when you're trying to rehab an ankle. And I think as the match progresses, the warmer she gets, the better she will be.
Yeah, unless she tweaks it. And Nebraska is out of rotation. The players have overlapped, and that is going to cost them a point. The call made by Joel Reinford, and Nebraska takes timeout. Wow, when things go wrong, things go wrong. So John Cook, unhappy with his squad at the moment. He gets a call from the umpire that gives Wisconsin a point. We're coming back, 9-4 Badgers.
Her hand isn't ordinary when she's the one you love. To slip an extraordinary gift onto it, come to Kay Jewelers. This Christmas, give her Kay's 3-stone ring with diamonds hand-selected for exceptional beauty.
Every kiss begins with K.
Kay Jewelers.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals? Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue. So don't send the wrong signals. Get Selsun Power.
Rhyme so loud and proud, you hear it. It's Christmas time and we got the spirit. Jack Frost chillin', the hawk is out, and that's what Christmas is all about. The time is now, the place is here, and the whole wide world is filled with cheer. My name's DMC with the mic in my hand, and I'm chillin' and coolin' just like a snowman. So open your eyes, lend us an ear. We wanna say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!
We're back. Wisconsin leading Nebraska here in game 3.
And they've been so much more deceptive offensively. Take a look at this play. Watch 17-1 in the middle. As we freeze it right here, they jump in the air. Nobody is going on the outside. Everybody jumping in the middle with Livingston. Jumping beans on the middle, nobody on the outside. And Wisconsin doing a nice job varying the offense.
Nebraska players have rolled up their sleeves, Heather. The guns are out. They've got to get going here. They trail 9-4 and starting to lose the momentum. The Badgers playing inspired defense. Sapero sets quick. Ball scooped up, no. Nebraska trying to get that middle attack going. I think that John Cook probably told his team in that timeout, let's get the ball into Crop, get the ball to Holmquist.
Well, combined, they have two of the best middle blocking duo, I think, in the country, and I think they need to exploit that.
That pass. Off speed, Sapero outside. And Behrens trying for a touch. I don't think she got it. Well, the outside hitters, Behrens and Schrod, have been questionable, at least in terms of putting the ball down. Pilikowski's been very good. Megan Conan checks in. She is going to serve. 9-4, game 3. Passes off. And a back set, trouble. Wisconsin on the attack. High left. And the put away. Lisa Zukowski into the game. Zukowski, a freshman who is unafraid. She gets her first kill.
Yeah, oftentimes she'd come in during the season, the regular season for Aaron Bird. She's a little bit more offensive, has a very live arm, but you look at her out there and she looks like a DS. She's listed at 5'10".
Yeah, she looks smaller than 5'10". I agree. Wisconsin has scored 5 unanswered points. It's 10-4. Undefeated Nebraska in trouble here. Blocked. Livingston. This is the national championship match in women's volleyball. We're at the Richmond Coliseum. Big crowd along with Heather Cox. I'm Chris Marlowe. Nebraska won the first game 15-9. Wisconsin coming back to win game 2 15-9. We're in game 3 and Wisconsin has all the momentum now. They're blocking well, their offense is moving, and they're serving tough.
Yeah, their block has certainly picked up here in this third game. And as soon as I say that, they exploit Amber Holmquist, and I think they need to continue to do that. Go to Crop, go to Holmquist. Wisconsin has not showed us yet that they can slow them down, so why not continue to establish them? A great one-handed step from Sapero.
I believe I said Holmquist was a senior earlier. I want to correct myself. She is a sophomore. Holmquist is a sophomore. That spike got a touch. Touch just means the ball hits the hand. It can hit the hand hard or it can hit the hand lightly. It can brush a fingernail. If the referees see it, they give you the touch. So Livingston setting up to block. 11-4 Wisconsin. Nebraska passing a little shaky now.
Everything's pulled off the net, so they're not as really not as scary up there. When you pull them back 3 or 4 feet, you really neutralize their effectiveness of being 6-2 across the net.
That play was manufactured by Lizzie Fitzgerald. Now Behrens comes back in. So John Cook looking for the combination that will stop this 7-0 scoring run. And the shanking is going on. Look out below. Zukowski pounds one.
And Nebraska has to find a pass. Wisconsin's serving game, I mean, hats off to their strategy. Really taking Nebraska away from the offense, going deep, short, mixing it up, trying to get in the way of their crossing patterns offensively.
13-4. Off the hands. Dug up. Livingston whipped it. Sapero back set. Will they go to Livingston? They do. And that ball was set right into the antenna. Bad set by number 2, Fitzgerald.
And that's a perfect example. Nebraska got the pass, able to get the side out and put the Badgers on their heels.
Hitting errors, Nebraska in the first game had 3. In game 2, they had 6. In this game, Heather, they already have 7. That's that courtesy of my man, Michael Sondheimer. On the left side, Zukowski. Wow, he is just pounding away out there. Looks like Christy Porter pounded. Nice up. Sapero, and Nebraska's into the... No. Nebraska's into the net. Wow.
Yes, Sapero just a little too aggressive on that attack. Saw the deep corners open and swung with her entire body rather than just her forearm.
Zukowski to serve. Pete Wade, Robert Poliza, Christy Johnson, the coaching staff of Wisconsin. Has to be feeling pretty good about their position at the moment. Now substituting back in, here comes Jenny Kropp. Out goes McWilliams. So Kropp back in the front line. That's good news for Husker fans.
Yeah, and she's an efficient attacker as well, and that's what Nebraska needs right now. They've got to cut down on their hitting errors.
Kropp, only 1 block today. She's hitting 200, so she needs to really go to work. Into the middle, Livingston. Tapped up. Nice set. Pilikowski puts it away. Good set by Sapero to get it out there. Point.
Boy, Pilikowski just continues to get better and better, averaging 5.2 kills in the tournament. And this weekend has just been the rock on the outside, really the anchor of Nebraska's offense.
Serving is Wishmeyer. This game almost a carbon copy of game 2. I'll explain what I mean in a moment. That ball hit out of bounds. In game 2, Heather, Wisconsin led 13-4. Just a moment ago, Wisconsin led 13-4 before Nebraska started a run and started to come back. Gardner is in. Livingston goes to the bench.
And this is huge for Nebraska. A quick side out and a quick run when their best hitter is on the bench. And that certainly doesn't help the Badgers' cause.
13-5 service error for Gardner.
Good scoring rotation for Nebraska.
Wisconsin, what a service story. That's a beautiful story. 6 aces and just 2 errors. Coming in is Mostrick. Wow, Mostrick is, she's in a funky rhythm. She'll get a couple down, but she's flying them all over the place.
Well, the timing often, Pete Wade said we're not going to change our offense, but we do want to run a quick offense to the outside. He said that was where Hawaii went wrong. They said all these sky balls gave Hawaii plenty of time to clamp on the outside, and I think Jenny Mostrick's timing is the shot.
Slap shot, deep corner. Behrens goes and gets it. Kropp. Fitzgerald sets left. Mostrick. Fitzgerald back to Mostrick. Tapping, keeping it in play. Sapero. Nice set. Kropp can't kill it. Fitzgerald tries to. Fitzgerald again to Mostrick. Big tip out of bounds. And the Nebraska coaches want a lift. They are calling first referee, Mary Holly, to call a lift.
Here's the set to Mostrick. The jump set. It's a little bit behind Lizzie Fitzgerald's head. That's a clean set. And a nice dig, and Oxley just does everything she can to try and keep that ball in play.
13-6. Fitzgerald will now serve. Keep in mind Livingston on the bench. Nebraska back set coming around the horn. Big hit dug up. Little tip. Conant. Fitzgerald looking for a point. Mostrick. Right side bad set. Kept in play. Nice up. Pilikowski. Pilikowski will set. Off the top goes Oxley. Big play here. Nebraska needs a stuff. And they get it. The Huskers with the roof.
Previously in this game, the block hadn't been a factor. They couldn't have asked for a better time to get their blocking scheme back down. Perfect timing by Pilikowski. Calling area one. Look for it to go deep in the right corner. Perfect serve.
A serve. And the Huskers, just as they did in game two, start to rally. 13-7 now.
Same place. You got to go back to Gardner. If you aced her before, make her think about it.
Pete Wade and Nebraska and Wisconsin still with 2 timeouts. Got to think he's going to use one if they get one here. Right side coming around the horn. Nice dig. Wisconsin a little discombobulated. The pair out of the back line. Pilikowski dug. Scoop left. Cross court. Nice up. Wishmeyer's automatic. Barron's tip. High middle. Tip. On the run. Sapera with the dive. Beautiful. Right side. Mostrick. Mostrick can't put one down. Whip it over left side. Rittenhouse. Down the line she goes.
Unbelievable finish of one of the best rallies we've seen all day long. And Rittenhouse, the sophomore, with the heads-up play going deep in the corner. You know, in long rallies, everybody gets sucked into the middle of the court, so those deep corners open up.
And Schrod will come in, replacing Barron. Schrod, the better hitter. Mostrick will serve. Livingston in after the next rotation. Pass is bad. Off the net. Out of the back line. Up, put away. Angie Oxley. She hit 500 in the semifinal and continues good work. Now, Holmquist back into the front line. The nation's leading blocker. You want to beat Wisconsin, you got to make hay in this rotation. Mostrick in the back, Livingston on the bench. Trouble. Little tip. Oh, and it goes straight down.
Wow, Rittenhouse once again. Don't forget, she's filling in for the injured Claudia Rodriguez. Had only played in 37 games, not matches, but games prior to this weekend. But watch out.
Here comes
Livingston's
trouble.
back.
Number 18, Charissa Livingston. Let's check Livingston's numbers. Hasn't blocked a lot. She's got 12 kills and 2 blocks. Now Barron's is back in.
Good matchup, too. Holmquist one-on-one against Livingston.
Good serve off the net. Here comes Barron's off the top. Chance for a point. Into Livingston. She's blocked. Rittenhouse again to Livingston. And she scores! Nine points. Wisconsin has scored when Charissa has been in the front line. Christy Johnson, the former Nebraska national champion, on the Wisconsin staff, saying one more. It's 14-7.
Look for them to serve Oxley. They're going to move her deep.
They're backing her up. Good pass. Into the middle. This could be it. Looking for game point. Livingston with the drive. Another dominating game for the Wisconsin Badgers. Putting a period on a beautiful set. Charissa Livingston. We're coming back. Wisconsin leading favored Nebraska. Unbeaten Nebraska. 2 games to 1.
He's been naughty. She's real nice. So what happens when a railroad tycoon unwraps a 120-pound present? Find out this December in Thank You, Santa.
Forget those other holiday movies. See the only one worth seeing. The one with that handsome green guy.
Peel the label off specially marked 2 liters of Sprite and get $4 off the movie of your choice.
San Diego, California, get ready for the 2001 NCAA Division I Women's Volleyball Championship. San Diego State will host the 2001 Women's Volleyball Championship December the 13th and 15th at Cox Arena at the Aztec Bowl. For a ticket application, call 619-283-7378 or log on to ncaavolleyball.net.
We literally make billions of coins here at the U.S. Mint, but each one is special.
I designed the Virginia quarter, which is part of the 50-state quarters program.
The idea is history. It's the history of our country, the history of our states.
This technology is like 100 years old. The depth and the detail that we capture is incredible.
Well, before it gets pressed, the metal composition of each quarter is checked for consistency.
The 50-state quarter program is one of the most unique programs our country has ever seen.
Each quarter is a miniature work of art. People are collecting, kids are trading.
I think it's one of the best things to happen to coinage in decades.
We're making them in the order that each state joined the Union.
We're putting out 5 state quarters each year for the next 10 years.
And each quarter's minted for about 10 weeks only.
I think the state pride is what's making it so popular.
If you want to collect them, the Mint has coin sets and maps to help you get started.
Next time you're buying a soda, go through your change. Check them out. We're really proud of the work we do here.
Nebraska won game 1, but since then it's been all Wisconsin. Pete Waite earlier talked about what it meant for him to reach the championship final. This is what he said.
We've set some big goals this season, and one of them was winning the Big Ten championship, and we got that done. And the other one was making the Final Four, and we're here. The next one would be obviously winning the whole thing, and getting the championship match. Anything can happen, and that's what our goal is to be there and win the whole thing.
All-conference performer as a player at Ball State, 9 20-win seasons at Northern Illinois, now just 1 game away from a national championship.
And the reason why Wisconsin is playing incredible defense, you've got to love the way that they've served and dug this game. Here's the 6 aces I'm talking about now. Another key stat, Nebraska may have 10 blocks, but they had 7 in game 1. They've only had 3 since then. Also, digging numbers not up there, but 59 digs. You got to put 59 digs down here for Wisconsin and just 47, if you can read my writing, for Nebraska. That's a huge difference.
The only other team to go undefeated and win a national championship, the Long Beach State 49ers a couple of years ago. That record looks fairly good right now because Nebraska is struggling. And now it's up to John Cook.
And an interesting matchup. John Cook has moved his rotation 2 spots, trying to get different matchups than he had the first 3 games.
I think that's a great idea. Livingston comes over to get it as we start game 4. Sapero, and the ball is tipped. Was it touched? A Badger may have gotten it, and Nebraska draws first blood, leads 1-0.
Therese Livingston just trying to get back in time. She ran into a photographer. It was about 5 on 6 for a couple seconds there.
Good start. Imperative for the Huskers. And Aaron Bird is back in there. Puts it in the bottom of the net. If you just joined us, Nebraska is the only undefeated team in the country right now. 33-0. The Big 12 champs, the 4th undefeated team to reach an NCAA championship match. Only 2 have survived. Get past there, Livingston over the top and down. If you're
Teresa Livingston just continues to impress. I love this 31. Watch the gap that it creates right in between 3 and 1, and that's the whole point of that, is to find the gaps in the block, and I think Wisconsin needs to continue to do that to win this one.
A block off the head of Holmquist. Oh, they didn't see it. They didn't see it. It hit Holmquist right in the head. The block, and the coaches are up. The ball hit Holmquist in the head going out of bounds right in front of us. The big play here. It definitely gets her. And a good call by the officials. They have done a terrific job.
Yeah, it's always the last person to touch, and that ball is clearly deflected off of Holmquist. It's a good change of mind there.
Slam dink by Sapero.
I think that's something that Sapero needs to continue to do. Take over this match with her offense, because the more she's attacking, the more she's holding a blocker up. She's capable of going 10 to 15 kills in a match. Right now has 6.
Set to serve is Lindsay Wishmeyer. Off the top, nice touch. Sapero sets quick, drop. Puts it away. If you're talking and thinking about the comeback ability of Nebraska, it's good. UCLA and South Carolina both led Nebraska 2-1 this year, with Nebraska coming back to win in 5. So this is the position they've been in. They know how to rally.
And they've been in do or die, too. That South Carolina match was an NCAA tournament game. It's a one-and-done situation. Stakes are high.
Ball is blocked, but it's out of bounds, and Nebraska gets a point. 3-1 Huskers. Huskers trying to get the momentum back. And we're going to have a substitution early. Lisa Zukowski comes in. Aaron Bird, who was effective in game 1, goes out.
But I like this substitution. Zukowski's come in, done a nice job. 2 kills on 3 swings, hitting high numbers.
Set high left. Here comes Livingston. She elevates. Nice soft block. Kropp got it. They sent Kropp. She missed it. So a chance for the 5th point goes awry. Wisconsin gets the ball back. So this game's starting much different than the previous 2. Set to serve is Zukowski.
And I still think blocking so important to both teams. For Nebraska, it's getting up a couple of big blocks. For Wisconsin, it's moving the ball around on offense and creating some gaps to avoid that Nebraska block.
Charles Barkley would have said, bad serve, man. Bad serve, man. Right into the bottom of the net. Now, Sapero will serve. They're working short. Nice strategy. Huskers on the attack. Into the middle. Kropp tip. Fitzgerald.
The donut, Chris, every single time. I mean, you wonder when they're going to make that adjustment. We saw it against when Nebraska played South Carolina.
Come on, you can't really cover the hole in the donut. You have to have perimeter defense. Come on, who's going to stay in there, the coach?
The block's job is to take away that donut area, but you've got to read. If there's a seam or a tip, you've got to be exploding into the middle of that court.
Gardner. And a little pinball defense comes up empty. Game 4. Wisconsin leads the match 2-1, but Nebraska humming so far. Nebraska, the 1995 NCAA champion, defeating Texas, and Mick Haley. That serve is too long.
And Wisconsin, of course, making its first appearance ever in the national championships or the national semis. There's a good look at Mick Haley and his wife. Led Texas to a title, also just coming back from Sydney. He's been a busy man. Coached Texas, then went coach the national team, now at USC.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere. Should be doing Radio Shack commercials with Howie Long and the gal. Mick set to take over at USC next year. And he will have an outstanding team returning.
And obviously an early disappointing exit for Jared Elliott, who's the interim head coach, will go back to being the full-time assistant under Mick for next season. But an amazing season that they had. And to his left there, for Pac-10 fans, Sarah Silvernail, a former standout at Washington State.
SC 29-3 this year. Somehow the serving has gone into the tank here. Both teams serving very poorly. And Dave Shoji, a very successful coach of the University of Hawaii. A lot of interest in this one. Out of the back line, Oxley with the drive. Dug up, set left. Zukowski not afraid to take a shot at it. Big play by Holmquist. Holmquist jams it. Score remains 4-1.
Holmquist picking up her 8th. Got 8 kills, picking up another block. And I think Holmquist and Kropp's blocking numbers have got to become more of a factor in this game. We talked about them coming out and exploding in game 1, but it's kind of been a non-issue since then.
Fitzgerald, back set, trouble there. Nebraska picks it up easily. Left side, Behrens. Crossboard, digs up. Zukowski, boy, everybody's tipping, and the defenses are paying the price. Defense sucking in. Those tips aren't going now, Heather. 5-1, Nebraska.
And I think it's a lot like against USC. You know, teams said to beat USC, you cannot tip. You have to use your power and attack every time. And I think that these two teams are relying on their shots a little bit too much. Let's unleash the heat. You know, don't worry about the block. It hasn't been an issue right now for Nebraska.
That's the Mostrick coming out of the back line here. Instead, right side spike way out of bounds, 6-1. So Nebraska has the momentum back. The Huskers starting to dominate the Wisconsin Badgers. Badgers having trouble siding out. Pete Waite takes time out. So the Badgers are in trouble at the moment. They lead 2-1, but things falling apart here in game 4.
Hey, looking great.
The Conair rechargeable beard and mustache trimmer. Moves in close, trims any style with laser precision. The beard and mustache trimmer. and to create any great haircut. The Conair 17-piece haircutting kit.
Remember those great barbershop shaves? Well, thanks to the Conair hot lather machine, with the touch of one hand, you can get great old hot lather. Just insert a can of your favorite shaving cream. Nothing softens your beard or soothes your skin like this. The Conair hot lather machine.
Everybody in sports tries different promotions. We thought we'd try Old Timers Day.
A lot of basketball, but first the Rams go for a championship.
I can't see it. I can't. Can you see that?
Honest Wagner worked for peanuts. Literally worked for peanuts.
Take your hat off. It's rude.
So Seattle now has a center to play with after the trade.
Right. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but probably something we should just leave the baseball.
Patrick Ewing in the trade to Seattle.
Never heard of him.
Head coach Terry Pettit in 1995, he led his Huskers to the NCAA championship. Let's go back 5 years against Texas. This was it. Demetrius Sands rejected. And Nebraska had won its first ever NCAA title. That was a beautiful moment, but the Huskers are really going to have to go here to repeat it. That was 1995, and this Wisconsin team is giving them everything they want. The setter on that team, she is now an assistant for Wisconsin, Christy Johnson. So here we go. Nebraska has jumped on top of Wisconsin here at the start of Game 4. They lead it 6-1. Really putting pressure on with the serve and the block. No offense yet for Wisconsin. Wisconsin's stuck in a bad rotation, and it's really, really hurting them.
And here they go. They rotate into their best rotation. Teresa Livingston back into the front row, playing against Rittenhouse, playing next to Rittenhouse and Bird.
So Megan Conan will serve it.
Look, it's going back down the line to Oxley. They continue to try and go after her. Missed her this time.
Bad pass, however. Oxley coming from the back line. Ball dug up, that's trouble. Too tight to the net, and the spike is out of bounds. Rittenhouse whacking that one. Score remains 6-1. So Nebraska will get the ball back. Nebraska at last look was hitting .205 as a hitting percentage. That's up to .227 now. Wisconsin at .167.
It's just amazing to think that this match is still going on with a team in a national championship match hitting 17%, and their star player, Jenny Mostrick, is still hitting negative, but what they've done is they're winning with defense and serving, and they're just keeping the ball alive. Good transition game, and they're not getting flustered. Aaron Bird with a good heads-up play against Shapiro.
Serving is Sarah Urbanek. Another shank pass. You would think all Nebraska has to do is just side out a little bit, and they will win this game. Just be steady. Into the middle, Holmquist. So Holmquist has come alive. She's had 3 records this year. Assists, total blocks, blocks per game, led the nation. Now she'll go out, and she's replaced by her alter ego, Lindsay Wishmeyer.
Wishmeyer, a great story. Typical coach's kid, was a setter, set the 6-2 offense, and then when they decided to go with 5-1 with Shapiro, quickly adopted into that defensive specialist role and just served a nail of a serve.
Off the top, Huskers can turn here. Shapiro back set. Might have stepped on her own player there. Fitzgerald takes a whack. Shapiro looking outside. Pilikowski's been automatic today. Not that time. Fitzgerald says, don't try me, I'm in center.
But I can block.
So Wisconsin down 6-1 here in Game 4, but leading the match 2-1. Livingston with a block, double contact, point Wisconsin.
And Chris, these stats are getting way too low from Shapiro. Look, it needs to go about that high. It goes way below my line, never goes above the plane of the net. She needs to get those high, utilize cross reach.
A mistake in the Wisconsin defense. That's where Shapiro goes when she tips or dumps. She's going to tip it or dump it straight down or jam it into the corner.
And you know, that's no surprise. That is the scouting report, and that's what it said, yet they haven't adjusted. Watch to go right corner to Bird with that area 1.
7 kills for Shapiro. Livingston is just running under the ball. I don't know if she's expecting a lower set, but it's not working. Nice shot there, and the put away for Pilikowski. So Nebraska answers the point and gets the 7.
Nice hustle in the off play. Oxley forced to set the high outside set.
Area 1, they're working on number 13, Aaron Bird, if they can get it to her. That's a pretty good pass. Back set. Livingston. Yeah, one of the problems that Livingston has, she's so used to hitting the quick, is when she's hitting a higher set, she's in there immediately.
Early.
She hangs.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she hangs and hangs and hangs, but she doesn't always get good wood on it. She's got to wait a little bit longer. So Livingston goes out. Ideal opportunity for Nebraska to score some points. 7-2 Huskers, game 4. Zapero, it's Doug, running, no. Unable to control. So Nebraska will get the ball back.
And I think 17 right there. Jenny Kropp has got to become a factor. Just take over. She's such a force at the net. She has the ability to really keep teams honest.
Nebraska 8 kills out of the middle so far this game. Mostrick zips it inside. Good defense. Fitzgerald with the drive. And she puts it away. Good defense by the Huskers. You mentioned that they're all over 6 feet. Well, they all are pretty athletic, and they all dig well.
Yeah, they're incredible, versatile, all-around players, and that's really coaches across the country all season long have said, where do you attack Nebraska? Do they have a vulnerability? So far, up until today, nobody has found a way to exploit that. Some people said, well, maybe that L2 position could be exploited. Well, she's stepped up, and I think that Behrens and the combination of Behrens and Schrod have done a nice job, but Wisconsin's starting to neutralize their block a little bit.
Serving is Fitzgerald. Oxley's passing a little bit better. Chance for a Wisconsin point. Should have gone Mostrick.
Not attacking right now.
Rittenhouse wasn't ready for it. Got to go Mostrick. Here she comes.
Mostrick's early, too.
Yep. Or the set's too high. One of the two. And the put away, Angie Oxley. Oxley's one of 2 seniors on this Nebraska team, and she is coming through.
And she's somebody that switched positions as well. A year ago was on the outside. This year moved to the right side, and her numbers have increased dramatically. Perfect position for her as a ball handler.
McWilliams had the serve. The Badgers should have gone dead on the outside. Set left, Conan. He's barely getting off the ground. Mostrick in the middle. Joust coming. Slam dunk! Amber Holmquist. And when it gets near Amber, this is going to the floorboards.
She's taking it personally. Leads the nation with 2.01 blocks per game, and you can see it in her eyes. She is mad. She wants to get even.
Once again, Livingston is out. And Nebraska taking advantage of it. Work in the middle. John Cook's strategy paying off. Holmquist again.
Oh, she's feeling it, too.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to say the word zone, but look at the look in her eyes. I mean, she's not celebrating at all. She is all business right now and just taking that, you know, personally, that this is my net to defend. This ball will not cross my net.
Conan has to go out. She is really hurting.
Yeah, she's not getting anything. Marie Meyer into the ball game. Doesn't have a lot of playing time. Has played in just 7 games this season.
Let's see what she can do. Mostrick sneaks it through. It's 9-2.
You know, when you look at Marie Meyer, she is the one that would go in if Conan wasn't available with the ankle. So she knew she might be called upon, but she doesn't pass. She doesn't play all the way around, so it certainly changes the substitution patterns for Pete Wade.
Zapero. Bulldog gets too hard, and another slam dink. Is that a block or a kill? A kill, says our official Statmeister, Michael Sondheimer. So those are kills, not blocks. But Nebraska doing a nice job on those, too.
I think it's important to note at 9-2 is when Conan was removed from this game. Let's see what Meyer can do. But it definitely changes the complexion and chemistry out there.
Set left. And going to get it was Fitzgerald. Zapero slammer. Badgers pop it over. Badgers look organized now. Zapero really running it. She looks like she's going to tip. Then she sets the middle. Nicely done.
Well, it's all about ball control, too. You notice when Zapero's running her offense tight to the net, it just adds a whole nother dimension. When they pass at the net instead of at the 10-foot line, this offense hums, and you can tell why it's second in the nation in efficiency.
At the Richmond Coliseum, Chris Marlowe, Heather Cox in the midst of Game 4. Wisconsin leads the match 2-1, but Nebraska flexing its muscles and leading 10-2. It's been a completely different Husker team. Whatever John Cook and his staff said in between games, it got them going.
Right, and conversely, there's no go-to player on the floor for Pete Wade. They have got to rotate out, get Livingston back on the floor. With Mostrick hitting negative, they just don't have anybody to go to with confidence.
We're coming back. More of Game 4, more live volleyball as the Huskers lead by 9.
The Princeton Club, we're committed to you.
Now is the perfect time to join a world-class fitness center. Madison's finest. The Princeton Club is open 24 hours a day. Everything is included in your membership. The Princeton Club is spotlessly clean. Remember, at the Princeton Club, our child care center is always free. The Princeton Club, East and West, open 24 hours.
I intend to be the next president of the United States.
Do not settle.
The past 12 years, Chairman Greenspan has guided the Federal Reserve.
AOL hooking up with Time Warner.
Nebraska rolling big here in Game 4. We want to remind you that the 2001 NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship will be held in San Diego December 13th through the 15th. In 2001, San Diego, California will be playing in the house that Heather Cox built, Cox Arena. To order tickets, 619-283-7378. Nebraska hitting this game .382.
And they could certainly use Rodriguez, one of the most physical right sides in the nation. Came out in Game 1 with a ton of emotion, really sparked this team, but then on that swing late in Game 1, redislocated that shoulder, was finished for the night. And obviously watching this evening, and not only Rodriguez hurt, but Megan Conan as well. We saw her, she's actually back out onto the court now, but Pete Waite worried about her effectiveness at the net.
Nebraska up 11-2. The big difference in this particular game, in my mind, the play of the Nebraska middle. Amber Holmquist had 7 kills in the first 3 games. She has 7 in this game. She has been blocked. She's rolled up her sleeve. She's blocking. She's hitting. She is dominating.
Yeah, both she and Kropp have gotten involved. Kropp just 1 block in the first 3 games, has started to get a lot more touches in this 4th game.
Short serve. Over the top is Bird. Zapero again.
And that's what they need, just one more offensive weapon. Now there are 6 attackers that Wisconsin has to worry about, all because Nebraska's ball control, getting the ball tight to the net so Sapera can choose in the air when she's jump setting whether or not she wants to set or attack.
7 unanswered points scored by Nebraska. Back in is Lisa Zukowski. So now Pete Waite may be thinking, hey, I better rest some of my primary players. He's got Conan out and he's got Bird out. It doesn't look like Wisconsin has enough.
And guess who's coming back in, though? Sharisa Livingston up off the bench in a hurry, eager to get back onto the floor.
When she went out, it was 7-2. It is now 13-2.
She's got to score points in a hurry. It's all about blocks. Serve tough. Open up that blocking game for the Badgers.
Conan back into serve, and it hits the net. So Nebraska gets the ball back. Kim Behrens will serve.
Watch the matchup of Holmquist and Livingston. It's only going to be for 1 rotation. Holmquist to move to the backcourt after this rotation.
And the ball spiked out of bounds.
See, that's a tough box. Holmquist and Zapero really forced Livingston out of bounds. They take up such a large area of the court.
Badgers being pounded here in Game 4. 30 hitting errors for Wisconsin. Nebraska can wrap it up right here, at least wrap up Game 4. Livingston off the top. Zapero goes and gets it. Chance for the win here. Oh, Nebraska, indecision. Left outside, Zukowski, no, and Nebraska has won Game 4. 15-2. So we are now tied at 2 games apiece for the national championship. We are going all the way, folks. Rally scoring 1-15. Wisconsin and Nebraska for the national title next.
Here at VMI, we were asked to try the Norelco Advantage for 21 days. There was quiet dissension.
I'm not giving up my blade.
And anxious inquiry.
The heck is this? Goo?
But then we started to realize the lotion actually gave us a closer, smoother shave than we expected, without the nicks and cuts of blades.
Our fear diminished our hopes arose, and life got a little less hairy.
Come on, babyface, move it.
The Norelco Advantage. It's guaranteed or your money back. Norelco, put it to the test.
Spyro's back. Can you take the heat? Rated E for everyone.
PlayStation. 1-800-COLLECT presents Ava Save-A-Lot.
Watch out!
Wow, that was close.
I know. You almost dialed 0 to make that collect call.
Well, what should I do?
Just dial 1-800-COLLECT. It saves at least a buck or two.
Wow, that's a lot.
And it's easy to remember.
Yeah, just dial 1-800-COLLECT. Ah, it's a no-brainer.
Watch out!
Relax, I remember.
Going up?
1-800-COLLECT. Save a buck or two.
Nebraska won game 1, Wisconsin games 2 and 3. Nebraska coming back in game 4. And yes, some people are predicting a Nebraska win, but a lot of people like Wisconsin. Rally scoring, 5th game. Explain, Heather Cox.
It's exciting. Point per play, so there's a lot less risk involved. People play much more conservatively. Game to 15, but you must win by 2, and there is no cap. Now, when you look at the history of these two teams, very interesting. First of all, 3 of the last 4 years in our national championship has gone to 5 games, so this is no stranger to anybody in championship volleyball.
In 1997, Stanford defeated Penn State 3-2. In 1998, Long Beach State won 3-2 also over Penn State. So here we go. Once again, to just set the stories up for you, Nebraska trying to become the first, make that the 2nd undefeated team in history to finish off with an NCAA title. Wisconsin, meanwhile, trying to win its first ever NCAA title in women's volleyball.
And you saw that Wisconsin has gone 3-0 in 5 gamers. Nebraska's gone 3-0. Wisconsin has not. Now, don't forget that these two teams faced in the 98 regional finals. A lot of the players on the team. In fact, Nebraska beat Wisconsin's team 3-2 in that regional final. John Cook, ironically, was the coach for Wisconsin.
Yeah, but they were playing at Nebraska. Today, we're on a neutral site. Here we go. Wisconsin in red starts with Megan Conan serving. Same matchups as game 4. Back set and straight down goes Amber Holmquist.
And Chris, I think this matchup favors Nebraska. They moved 2 spots in the rotation in game 4. A brilliant move by the coaching staff. They've gone to the same rotation here in game 5. But I like Wisconsin's rotation too. Livingston starts left front. You've got Conan, the injured one, in the back who can pass and play defense and doesn't have to worry about hitting.
Shank pass, ace. Kim Behrens gets Nebraska another point.
To think about here in game 5, serving has been key for Wisconsin in this match. In game 5, you typically tend to let a little bit of heat off of your serve. That hurts Wisconsin.
Livingston sneaks it down. Shapiro goes and gets it. 3 ball coming. Bird, Livingston. Livingston's got to get real hot right now. If she doesn't put the ball down, the Badgers are dead. They may be dead anyway. On the left side, Laura Hilikowski. 19 kills for LP. 3-0, Nebraska.
Has been absolutely huge. Not only 19 kills, but hitting about 22%, and she's taken the majority of the swings. I mean, they've had to go to her a ton more than they're accustomed to.
Fitzgerald into Bird. Takes a whack at it. Nebraska goes and gets it. Quick set. Dug up. Set Holmquist. She's been hot. No, instead going left. Hilikowski with a drive. It's rally scoring. 4-0. Point on every play. Pete Waite has 2 timeouts. Going to wait one more play, I would guess.
One more match.
Can't get out of this
Settle
rotation.
this team down.
Here comes Livingston, puts it away. Pete Waite, a very conservative coach, likes to hang on to his timeouts to use them a little bit later. Now checking in will be Sarah Urbanick. Played for Pete at Northern Illinois. A tremendous defensive player. Sapero back set. Off the top, chance for a point. Fitzgerald, slam dunk, no. Sapero, Livingston, wow, Sapero.
Into the net, though.
She touched the net. What a great joust that was. Sapero at 6'2". Livingston at 6'1". They were up.
Watch Sapero's forearms as they go right into the net as she swing blocks to beat Livingston.
Good call. Officials are doing a job in this one. Give him one more kudo, and that's it. Mary Holly, Joel Reinford. Sapero into the middle, and the spike is out of bounds. So Wisconsin scores 3 in a row.
Wisconsin's defense all season long has been its strength. It starts with the tough serve, sets up the block, and the back row dig.
Both teams have to be a little bit nervous. Sapero sets left. Here comes Pilikowski. And the Badgers are into the net. And they are looking at Joel Reinford and saying, who did it? So a point to Nebraska, 5-3 now. Wishmeyer is in. You have to use your substitutions very quickly in this one.
But right now, Wisconsin's got to utilize Livingston. Get the points while you can while she's in the front row. Just one more rotation with her in front.
Bad pass, trouble. Mostrick. Oh, and Mostrick missed it right into the bottom of the net.
She's tight. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. She's tight. She's been hitting negative all night long. She knows the extreme amount of responsibility that's on her shoulders.
6-3 now. Wishmeyer continues to serve. Livingston set his way back. And the ball is blocked. Jenny Kropp stuffs it down. And the Huskers block coming alive. It's 7-3.
Kropp finally just one block early in this match. Finally getting a huge block in this 5th and final and decisive game. Working in tandem. Big step to the outside. Closes. Turns the right hand. Livingston pulled off the net. Both of these teams so much more successful when they're setting a tight offense on the net.
Nebraska trying to finish undefeated and become national champion for the 2nd time. Only Long Beach has ever done it in NCAA volleyball. The great 49er team of '98. John Cook, who coached 7 years at Wisconsin, in his first year as the Nebraska head coach. And what a job he has done.
So many people thought that Nebraska was a year, maybe even 2 years away. They graduated 5 seniors from last year's team. Their star player, Nancy Maindring, decides to redshirt, and lo and behold, at 33-0, John Cook has gotten his team back to the promised land much quicker than anybody thought.
When Nebraska wins game 1, Heather, we talked about it early. They win 95% of the time. They lost the next 2 here, but it looks like, it appears that stat might hold up unless Jenny Mostrick and the Wisconsin Badgers can pull a comeback.
Well, Pete Waite's squad just looks emotionally and physically fatigued right now. Conan started the match at 80%. I think she's down to about 60 or 50%. Just doesn't have any hops left on her leg.
Here's the game right now. Next 2 or 3 plays will tell you whether Wisconsin can do it. They've got to catch up now. Once they get a little further behind, it'll be over. 5th and final game of the national championship match. Serving is Wishmeyer. Bad pass. It's an ace for Wishmeyer. And Nebraska gets another point. 8-3. The teams will now switch sides. There is no timeout. They'll run around and switch sides, and this match continues. Penn State 2 years ago led Long Beach 8-3. And Long Beach came back.
One of the most amazing comebacks I have ever witnessed in all time. I mean, in side-out scoring, it's one thing. In rally scoring, it's next to impossible.
It can be done, but the team that's leading has to get a little bit shaky. 8-3 Nebraska. Huskers set to serve. Lindsay Wishmeyer. She serves it out. Wow, that's a big play there. Just a mental boost.
Yeah, just
for the Badgers.
neutralizes the ace that she got. That switch at 8 couldn't have come at a worse time following Wishmeyer's ace.
So now Wisconsin will serve it. Teresa Livingston is in the front line. Set left. Here comes Pilikowski. They dig it up. Into the middle. And the put away. Livingston. Boy, she got about a knuckle on that. She got Heather's big ring on it, and that's it. And it went down.
23 kills now. Teresa Livingston just dominating at the net. Hitting percentages not as high, though. They're two-star players getting some kills, but not hitting high numbers. They've got to be effective and efficient in this set.
Aaron Bird working on Oxley. Set left. Here comes Pilikowski. Pilikowski.
You give her line and she'll take it. She's shown us every single time that the Badgers have moved in on her to take away cross court that she's able to get the line now. 22 now for Pilikowski. A double-double with 14 digs.
9-5 now. Nebraska by 4. In a game to 15.
Great serve.
Fitzgerald sets left Mostrick. She has to have one now, and she gets one. Boy, she's tapping it around.
Boy, that's important, though,
Patty
because
cake.
Sapero's serve took Livingston out of the offense by serving short. She got right in the way of the crossing pattern. Mostrick, the only place to go.
And now Livingston is out of the match. Checking in is Gardner. So pressure on Mostrick. Gardner from deep. Her team down 9-6. And she missed it. The serve ticked the net. Point Nebraska.
If you're going to miss a serve in Game 5, you have to miss long. At least give your opponent the chance to think about it and possibly play it. You never want to serve into the tape.
Laura Pilikowski serving. Shank pass, trouble. Wisconsin free ball. Nebraska looking to go to 11. Right side, Oxley takes a whack at it and it drops. Nebraska now just 4 points away from the national title. Wisconsin with 1 timeout remaining, and he will take it. Pete Waite, timeout, Badgers.
Boy, the emotions that must be going through John Cook said he talked about it being a dream come true. If there could ever be a matchup in the national finals, that he would want it to be Nebraska and Wisconsin. But talking to before game time, he said, I have to get that out of my thoughts. I cannot worry about the players that I recruited that are on the Wisconsin side. We are here to take care of business and bring Nebraska the 2nd national championship.
Meanwhile, Pete Waite looking for one last stand from his Badgers. Down 11-6 in a game to 15.
And right now, Wisconsin does not have the matchups they want. Don't forget Nebraska, undefeated, hoping to become just the 2nd undefeated team with Long Beach to win a national title with an undefeated, unblemished record.
Nebraska and the Beach, incongruous.
Who would have thunk it?
So now the Badgers gearing up. Gracia-Lee Sapero has done a magnificent job leading the comeback. Fitzgerald has been outstanding. But really, the middle blockers and middle hitters for Nebraska have come alive, and the great play of Laura Pilikowski from start to finish.
It's been huge. And look for Nebraska to pounce right now. With Livingston on the bench, you've got Mostrick, who's hitting negative. She's had an admirable effort, but still hitting negative. And Megan Conan, who is severely limited with that severe left ankle sprain. Those are the only 2 hitters that Lizzie Fitzgerald had.
5th and final game of the national championship match. Once again, we're playing to 15. Nebraska with the serve. Pilikowski. Good pass. Fitzgerald shoots left. Mostrick. Nebraska hustles. Oh, and they bump it out of bounds. Barons bumped into Krupp. So Wisconsin gets a gift point. I think the goal for Wisconsin now, play well enough to get Livingston back into the game. They have to rotate a couple more times.
Well, they have
get
to give
a couple
up
of
3 points. So, you know,
absolutely.
That's taken Nebraska to 14.
Into the middle. Over the top and down. Oxley with the drive. Angie Oxley.
Well, we talked about it earlier. I talked to Terry Pettit, the previous Nebraska coach, and he said Oxley is the X factor. She is the one that must have a solid performance, and she's doing it in Game 5 when everything matters.
Set to serve, Jill McWilliams, the senior, 12-7 now. Huskers closing in. Back set, Mostrick. Front set, Mostrick. They dig her. And double contact, McWilliams.
You know, McWilliams is a setter. You need to let the setter step in and set the ball. She set the 6-2 last year. If she's on the floor, she instantly becomes that 2nd setter.
Play that could haunt Nebraska if Wisconsin were to come back. Into the middle. Holmquist does it. The sophomore from Houston, Texas now Nebraska just 2 points away from its second national championship. Pete Waite saying, hang in, Badgers. Oxley will serve. 13-8 our score. Out of the back line, Mostrick dug up Pilikowski, and trying to slam it was Sapero, and the Badgers were there.
And guess who's back in? Here comes Livingston.
13-9.
Nice play. Rittenhouse this time stuck in the middle. Nice job recognizing Sapero, the front row attacker.
Teresa Livingston back in the front line. Set to serve as Conan. This is the best rotation Wisconsin has. Got to score one here. Sapero sets left. Barron's all alone. And it drops! Kim Barron. Maybe the final spike of her Nebraska career. She puts it away. And now the Huskers have 5 championship points. The undefeated Nebraska Huskers poised to celebrate. Serving is Oxley. Into the middle, Livingston. This could be it. Set Pilikowski. And she puts it away. Nebraska has made history. Pilikowski, 32 kills, number 32 wins Nebraska its second national championship. It was a thriller. Nebraska puts away Wisconsin 3-2. We'll be back with a final comment after this. ESPN's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Volleyball Championship has been brought to you by Sprite. Image is nothing, thirst is everything. Obey your thirst. Sprite. And by Spalding, the official ball for NCAA Volleyball Championships. The final score, Nebraska wins the national championship and becomes only the second team in volleyball history to finish undefeated and win the national title. Your thoughts, Heather Cox?
An absolutely perfect season for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They dominated statistically on paper all season long. They deserve to get the 20th anniversary title.
Nebraska finishes at 34-0, undefeated. Pilikowski, let's check that, 23 kills in the match, including the match winner. Wisconsin Badgers finished 33-4, their best finish ever. Once again, the final score, Nebraska wins the national championship and finishes undefeated by defeating the Wisconsin Badgers. Up next, ESPN Today, Extreme Sports Highlights. That is coming up next. For Heather Cox, I'm Chris Marlowe. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.